I said you're.
What is poppin', family? What's good, man?
¿Cómo estás hoy en los días del Día de los Padres?
Happy Father's Day to you too, my brother.
That man knows his Spanish.
No,
He
I
goes
just
like,
what I have no clue what the fuck you just said, but I figured I'm gonna just go with it, and if I'm wrong, I'm completely wrong. But like, there's like a really good fucking chance that like you said Happy Father's Day. So I had no clue what you said. Like no
I
cap.
said, how is everyone doing in this day of the fathers?
We are doing great. Why are you talking like Yoda?
I'm not talking like Yoda. I am not.
Why talk Yoda are you?
Happy Father's Day to everybody. Sticky Vibe Podcast. What's going on, people?
What is popping? How was your week, man? How was big? You got some big shit going on your end like this week, man.
Little bit, just a little
Like,
bit.
I thought I was catching up, but then it was just like, nope.
Well, I'm at 26,500 subscribers right now. 2.1 million views total YouTube.
Yo,
I
man.
just celebrated. I'm not gonna just. I'm pretty much a year already doing YouTube.
Facts, eh?
It's been a ride.
I still got a while. I got till October before I've been doing reactions for a year.
Does these lights look like a bodega in the back of me? Because I feel like I'm in a bodega.
You're fine, man.
You sure? Because you looked at it 3 times and didn't say nothing. So that was judging. You were judging right now.
Hey.
What's going on, my man K Legend? Yo, K Legend, you missed it, brother. K Legend and Lala gave me a song to finish the live with that has not come out yet.
Oh, shut up.
I swear to you, man, that shit was fire. Absolute fire.
That is dope. That is dope. What is popping, everybody? We appreciate y'all for chilling out. We appreciate y'all hanging out while we go live on this EP number 32. We got something lit for y'all, man.
Lit.
We got something lit for y'all.
I think it's more than just lit.
How long you worked on the intro?
I worked on the intro from the minute you sent me the poster.
Poster's lit. That was like he was
That
crafty. He was crafty with it. I thought everybody always gives you that headshot or that pose. This dude was like, nah, fuck. I'm gonna just.
I don't think Alphabyte is comfortable with his looks.
Yeah. I don't know, but that was lit. That was lit.
I worked on this intro for a minute. I ain't going to lie. The Arizona Assassin.
Blah.
The man that flows like no others. This man could rap. I like to call him the Arizona wordsmith, by the way.
Blah.
If you're looking for the definition of wordsmith in Webster's dictionary, the old one that hasn't been released yet. You see, the old one that hasn't been released yet.
Definitely.
They made an old one and never got released. You look at Wordsmith, you're going to see our poster right there. No name, just him. My man, one of the best independent rappers alive. Alpha motherfucking Mike. What is good, my guy?
Man, first off, let me say that intro, incredible. That was dope. I appreciate it. Like, that was too much in terms of I don't deserve. There's so many motherfuckers that are way better than me right now. It's crazy, especially in Arizona specifically. Y'all know that.
That's where I don't like when you rappers do that.
Yeah, it's almost like you grow up in any other sport. You see people have been better for so long, and you're like, man, I haven't hit that yet. So it's no different than any other sport. While I recognize game, like in my own craft, you can't see what people are doing that you're not doing. Like, I'm doing something that they're not doing for sure, but like I see what they're like. I mean, come on now, Arizona special. Y'all know Arizona's spitting some crazy artists out.
No, like you don't even have to go. You don't even have to. You don't even have to go through it. All you can just say is, yeah, Merkham's, Alphabyte. What?
Shit.
You guys got one guy that moved to my top 5 favorite battle rappers, and that's Rum Nitty.
Oh, dude, he don't get a lot of ears, bro. I'm surprised. I love it. Yeah.
That boy
right.
Oh, God, he could punch. So I got stuck on stupid when you dropped that. When I heard the Kill Shot remix you did.
Oh, I appreciate you. Yeah.
I replayed it about 250 times.
Much love.
Still can't memorize a goddamn thing you fucking said, because I was just like, the flow is just, your flow is unique. If I must say.
Thank you. I mean, dude, I try to approach every line, It wasn't until I heard Tech Nine one day explain the 4-bar increments where he's like, I forgot who broke it down to him one day. It was someone, I forgot who it was. It was someone that had already been in the game for a while and was telling Tech, like, yo, you got to switch your flows every 4 bars. You're going to lose the listener, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw Rakim talk about he could have syllables planned out with just dots, and he could have his whole song structured with and then I saw J. Cole using his phone, and I saw how my bars lined up in a structure that were similar to all, and it just, dude, I'm a student of the game, you know what I'm saying, all the genres, and I'm just trying to take it all in, and every line is, and then K Legend up in here, he's another dope ass artist that just, he creative as fuck, you know, tries to do everything, not just stay in one lane.
I'm gonna tell you
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you about K Legend. K Legend is a bitch. That motherfucker gave me a song yesterday that almost made me cry in front of 30 people.
Damn, and he's the bitch?
Hold on, relax, Alphabyte, relax. That shit, they gave me some, I was just telling Shakey before we got on, they gave me, him and La La Love, gave me a song that hasn't been released yet that I played as the endings of my live. Oh my God. I cannot wait until you guys hear that shit.
When's it coming out? Do you have any idea?
He didn't tell me. That's why he's a bitch.
Okay. That's why
he's the bitch.
That is almost, now I see why.
But you just said you almost cried on your live stream in front of a bunch of people. But
you need to relax, Shakespeare. You're looking at the wrong part of the sentence that I just said.
True. No, I agree.
Let's go.
I focused in a little myself. But now, I appreciate you, by the way, though, for that Kill Shot, that record. Now, here's the thing. I'll say, if you haven't seen anything by the Rule of Two, which is me and Angry Orphan, that's the most recent writing in terms of my chronology that's out, like that discography, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But that album, that whole mixtape, Art of Bars 2, that's 2019. So that shit that came out. So when I was like, man, I can't just put this out. So that album, if you go to my YouTube, there's a Rule of Two album, which is me and my partner in rhyme for sure. He's I'll tip my hat off to him. You got to have him on your show for sure. Angry Orphan, if you haven't already heard
Angry
him.
Orphan, I heard of him.
We got 16 joints. You know, it's like 40 minutes. Mercy in here.
So that's what I'll do for you and Angry Orphan. Next week, I'm doing my Saturday Night Lives, which I react to one artist. I got Tom McDonald next week. The week after that, I got another surprise that I can't say. But the week after that, I'm gonna do the whole album review.
Hey, we'll be there for it, brother. We'll be there. It's honestly, it's so slept on. Mercy's like one of the first people who just naturally stumbled upon it and actually gives it its credit love. I mean, like it's every other day she's showing props on a different joint, and like that means the world to me, because there's ego and then there's understanding art, and the part of me that is objective and can understand art, when I hear it, even after months of it being out, I haven't listened to it in a little bit. Crazy. It's crazy. Bar for bar, we're both just doing that old hip hop, that boom bap. Like, I mean, here's the
Back
thing.
and forth?
Yeah. Well, not as traditional like it should be. But he's got that Aesop rock, you know what I'm saying? And I got that Cool G rap style. Like, we're both in our own pockets, but we both sound so good.
I guarantee you that there's one or two people in the chat right now that have not heard what you're talking about. And I know Ray, I know you're going to be doing a live flipping it. But Alpha, if there was one track that somebody said, yeah, what's the one track that somebody who's never heard you has to listen from that shit? And let's play that for them. I'm going to let you pick that one track, if that's okay with Ray. Ray, I know you're doing a live, but it's going to be in 3 weeks, so you probably won't be super familiar with it.
My brother, I'm going to forget it by tonight.
Facts. Because you're gonna keep drinking. So it's all good.
Yes, I am.
So, Alpha, if there was one track on that you wanted to introduce somebody, not just to your music, but to that album, which track?
And you're talking about the one with because that Rule of Two joint that I'm talking about is a duo album completely. There's not a single solo on there. But if you're talking about the one he has the Kill Shot album on, I guess from that song or that album where it's just all solo music, it would be Jim Carrey. That song is like my fucking, like that's my soul. I don't break down to a lot of my music, but the ones where I can feel that moment where I was writing lyrics and I was tapping into like a certain emotion or memory, or if people don't think about other people listening to their shit when they're writing, and it blows me away. Like if I were to, my grandma passed and I love her, God bless her soul. But when I think about her hearing a certain line and I'm writing, oh my God, I'm like, fuck, like I get goosebumps. I tear up because she'll never hear it from this planet at least. And I do that in all. It could be a song about trauma. It could be about being at a party. It could be about smoke, anything. You know, when you tap into thinking about how someone's absorbing it, it makes the creating process so much more, I don't know, for me, more organic. I'm not trying to create filler bars. I'm just like being transparent. And this song is that. I mean, I took psychedelics, not like a crazy psychedelic user. However, I do respect them, and I've gained incredible experiences and spiritual openings because of them. And this song has like a big reflection of just like how my ADHD bounces in my mind from topic to topic to topic, because that's how I am.
In other words, my man Alpha was talking in this one.
Yes.
Yo,
absolutely.
this right here is Alphabyte, Jim Carrey, off the Art of Bars, Volume 2.
Now, this is a live reaction, by the way, because I haven't heard it.
Okay.
24 years old, I'm trying to figure it out. Some days I cry from anger, listen when I scream and I shout. I often bleed from my wrist, it's so blissful to say I don't miss you, but wish you would come back, I pray. See, my issues can't excuse my lungs trapped in from all the weight. I feel my stomach drop, I'm nervous, any second I could break. I'm always shaking, hoping you will notice that I'm not okay. I'm in the dark, I'm hiding lonely, that's how I could fill this page. I'm writing exercise and pain. Or maybe next my time has came. So pay me checks and play me, yes, my time has came. Been lit like a violet flame in the sky like a pilot planes. When I write through the vibe exchange, not once but twice hit a vein. Cold dice, no vices remain. Alphabyte, put some bite in the name. I provide for the lies with a life with no pain. I'ma fight through the night when the light is a fade. Can't see so bright, I'm the type of grenade that'll blow none's left and it's right in your face. One sack, I'm the high that you chase. Put your pride to the side, no more eye in my plate. Come alive with the bass, one breath I could die for my faith. Every time that I trip, one sex like a 5-minute break. So short, so long, my goodbyes are away from the sea. No
relax, bro. It's not even that serious,
like
bro.
Planes when I write through the vibe exchange. Not once but twice hit a vein. Cold dice, no vices remain. Alphabyte, put some bite in the name. I provide for the lies with a life with no pain. I'ma fight through the night when the light is a fade. Can't see so bright, I'm the type of grenade that'll blow none's left and it's right in your face. One sack, I'm the high that you chase. Put your pride to the side, no more eye in my plate. Come alive with the bass, one breath I could die for my faith. Every time that I trip, one sex like a 5-minute break. So short, so long, my goodbyes are away from the sea. No ships and the sides of it's great. Like Christ, I could rise from the grave, shake death, I could try with the grace. Woo! Stay blessed, stay rest, don't bother us. Strangers like Facebook followers, that's a metaphor for what father was. So we're headed toward what an artist loves, and I just let it morph before I let it buzz. I got a tug of war in my heart and guts. I'm not sorry, but it's an alarm and rush with self-harm. My arms have marks and thus I took scars. Look, bars ain't hard to bust since I trip.
Yes, sir.
I have a tug of war between my. Oh my God, bro.
Bars.
Holy shit.
It's like bar after bar after bar. You can get lost in the cadence, the flow, and the delivery here. Like,
That's true, man.
It's like you can't pause it too much because If you pause it to say one thing about one bar, he said 15 more. So now you got to stop every 10 seconds.
Right.
This is like training for reactors, brother. Like if you can react to Alphabyte, you're gonna make it in life.
Hey, and here's the thing. I'll take that, and also I've seen reactors just totally, there's nothing there for them, and that's totally okay too. Like that's totally okay too. But this shit right here, if they don't get nothing, and I show them this, to me that shows what they don't have in terms of hearing things. Like you're saying, that's training. Like, so I'm like, you can do that, you can feel that way, but like that your reputation as a reactor, like it takes an L. Like it just does.
Let's go. I want to hear this shit. Let's go.
To see no ships and the sides of it's great like Christ. I could rise from the grave, shake death, I could try with the grace. Stay blessed, stay rest, don't bother us. Strangers like Facebook followers, that's a metaphor for what father was. So we're headed toward what an artist loves, and I just let it morph before I let it buzz. I got a tug of war in my heart and guts. I'm not sorry, but it's an alarm and rush with self-harm. My arms have marks and thus it took scars. Look, bars ain't hard to bust. Since I trip, minds trip, I'm pissed and trust the fact I can't spit, so I split a rust. I'm not giving up, but I'm living up. I took expectations and ripped them up. I'm not quick to judge or digest with patience. I sit and puff till I vision stuff. Third eyes wide open, listen up. I've been inside my mind into twisted tight space with switches, knife blades. When quick this life takes a grip and addiction, high stakes. Lips so dry, need a drip to hydrate. The missions vibrate. A devil from the desert with a dream. The pipe breaks between.
Dude, you're gonna make me break my fucking chair, bro. Stop.
Hey, we'll get you a new one, brother. It's fine.
Facts. Multi-syllable like a motherfucker, bro.
Dude, so many teachers, so many dope MCs to learn from. I owe it all to them. That's it.
Third eyes wide open, listen up. I've been inside my mind into twisted tight space with switches, knife blades. When quick this life takes a grip and addiction, high stakes. Lips so dry, need a drip to hydrate. The missions vibrate. A devil from the desert with a dream. The pipe breaks between you and me. There's a leap to fight fate. No greed inside weight. I brace my shoulders for the steep decline break. They try to stop me, can't freeze my time space. A pinpointed rhyme with an ease my mind shapes. Deliver each line, not a leech, but I bleed. I try to pull it off, but I see you might be not quite right tonight, so I'll fight free. In a world where there's type 1s, I'm type 3. Get a little burst of lightning, it strikes me. Let the beat play for each breath that I take. Let's go deep beneath where all the mic draws. Center of the circle arena, I'm in the nightfall. Looking all around and alone, but not with my eyeball. Steady with the pattern, my question is to the tribe, y'all. If I were to die, just drop dead despite all the effort that I put into what it is my hands drawn. Listen now, I'm not sad, frustrated. Pissed about how I miss what's painted. Plus the miss what's adjust my aim and my wrist, my guts undertaken. Must live up to self.
That boy good.
That shit is, oh my God. You got me like I'm frozen right now, bro, because I'm trying to catch the first verse.
Dude, I'll never drop a one-time song verse. That there's too much there. There's too much I put into that shit for someone to just hear it once and say they heard it all.
Question it to the tribe, y'all. If I were to die, just drop dead despite all the effort that I put into what it is my hands drawn. Listen now, I'm not sad, frustrated. Pissed about how I miss what's painted. Plus the miss what's adjust my aim and cuff my wrist, my guts undertaken. Must live up to self-expectations. Bust from this cell and hell I play this. Bust from this cell and hell I play this. Last verse, last bar, last stanza quick. I gotta pay my sins every dollar spent. Whenever death may call, I take the risk. And then I pick the phone up, translate the mix. I've been late to fix trade relationships. I got toxic traits in my nature sit. Plus I just took an eighth room to gauge a grip. You know my razor quick. I'm talking real sharp, smooth, so suave as shit, man. The Rico, leave us just like the weed smoke. Here we go. Time goes by, I get high, it seems slow. Time goes by, I get high, it seems slow. Time goes by, I get high, it seems slow. My oh my, I'm in flight and synchro. Soul, body, mind with insight and ego. Guess it's goodbye until Alphabyte can.
The breaks are so crazy, man.
This is a King ISO. You can pause it right here. Because this is just the fucking sample King ISO used. I do classic, that 50 Cent era mixtapes. Like these are all real songs that are my favorite songs, kind of whether it's instrumental or just conceptually. And I make them my own. So like there's like Drake's Pound Cake. There's
that one is fire. We have to listen to it tonight.
Then that one, I mentioned my grandma earlier. It's about, there's a verse in there about her. Like, woo, that was a whole journey watching her pass, man. That was
now this is one of the things that I love about the way you rap is it doesn't matter what beat you choose.
Facts.
You know how to manipulate it to where your voice and the beat become one. And I've always said that if a rapper can't rap on beat, he's trash. I don't care what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like,
no, you got to know how to be on rhythm.
Because if not, then they're going to be like, oh, that song was dope because of the producer.
Right.
Because the beat was fire.
Yep, absolutely. That's a real thing.
You know how to do that merge between flow and cadence in that beat that I'm just like, I don't even want to react to this nigga, man. I want to just listen to myself. I want to be greedy.
Yeah, hog me all up. Hey, you can't by all means, man. My discography's, that's the thing. I've been every few months, that moment where I'm like, fuck, I can feel myself getting better and hearing it, and that's the beauty of been doing it for so long that these 3-4 years you can see it. Like, I mean, the curve was crazy. Like, if we ran something from my first album, you could hear like, oh shit, he knows how to rhyme. He doesn't know exactly how to work his voice. He's not all the way on rhythm. There's flaws everywhere. But now it's to the point where I'm like, artists get to that point where they just pick, like I always say, top 5, whatever, 50, all these dope legendary MCs. They all are on the same tree, but branch this differently. And there's some artists branch on the same branches for sure, but like Tech and M are not on the same branch. Like, not at all. Like, not at all. Get the fuck out of here.
They got two completely different rap styles. Right. And I put Tech pretty much in what he does to where I put M in what he does. There's nobody could do it like Tech could do it.
Right.
There's nobody that could do it. But when it comes to storytelling and bars and triples and doubles and all that shit, if you're not saying Eminem's the GOAT at this point, then you don't know what the fuck you're listening to. Is the way I see it.
We need to get out of here.
Right. There's levels to it, and but yeah, man, I definitely just try to just keep upgrading, and so even hearing that song that was just played, I made first opening line, 24 years old. I'm trying to figure it out. I just turned 26. It's been 2 years since that shit was written. Probably about a year and a half since it came out, or a year. So the way I sit on my music and create it, like I said, that could be done a year ago and then it comes out. But you can hear the difference. Oh, the studio upgrades. He's got a different mic. His producer's getting better. His engineer, all that. You can see the progression. I leave shit up. I leave it up because I can, in the future, I'll point it to other artists. People like Mercy in the chat, she just stumbles upon the fucking discography naturally. Like, I've got a lot of surprisingly female fans that go through and just love the lyrical shit. Like, it's the female fans that show that love openly, and that's not the secret of hip hop. Everyone knows that, but like, I do notice that they love being able to go through it all. Like, they don't just want to hear the one great thing. Like, of course they will spin it, but like, if you can give them a chance to go through everything, it becomes personable now. They're not just objectively liking your shit. Now they're just like, oh fuck, I heard him talk about this, I heard him talk about that. I'm hearing the growth, and they attach to you being in that growth phase. I've got fans that just love that alone. They love being able to watch me grow. It's a beautiful.
Now talking about watching you grow, where did it start for Alpha?
In terms of love for the genre or writing?
In terms of pen to paper, I'm going to do this shit.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to do this shit was 2017 for sure. But I had always been, I vented with poetry and just kind of writing free verses, even if it was with an instrumental or not, throughout high school. You know what I mean? And then it wasn't until 2017 where a really serious relationship I had ended, and I was just like, whatever. I just really was like, I would rather dedicate myself to this, or something I just knew I loved. Like that, I don't even have that moment where I was just like, this is it. There was just a time period where I grinded so hard for music, And then I just dedicated myself to it because it became with freestyles and having fun. Like I would just freestyle and roast and have like, it was easy to make fun of a song that was already out because the cadence was established. I was like, oh, this is what Weird Al did. He figured out cadence to the original song, remixed it, made it funny. He knew how to deliver. And then studying rap and whatnot, like I understood, like, oh, wow, multi-syllables. Like even OCD as an ADHD, the craziest blend. Like this square right now, even our pictures, that's 4 syllables right there for me. Each corner is 4 syllables. I would be listening to music, and if something had 4 corners on it, I would bounce them around and I would be like, oh, that happens to land on the same corner after a whole rotation. That's 4 syllables. And I would notice like certain punchlines would always end that like that. And weird ass shit, right? Like, but that came from listening to, you know, it could be rock, it could have been punk, it was hip hop, songwriting. People understand syllables. Country, they understand syllables. It's a matter of how complex it gets. They're used to everything else with devices in English, but it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. I'm a nerd for this. I have dreams of just talking game, you know.
Now I've noticed something in just the 29 minutes of us talking. When it comes to rap, you have this certain smile on your face that doesn't go away.
Love it. I do love it. It's my whole. It's something I understand more than anything. I always described if I could play words as an instrument, I'd have it nearly mastered. Like I just understand it from how to, because can't play guitar, I can't play piano, I can't do drums, I don't even make beats, I don't engineer my own vocals. I fucking love writing. I love English language with how fucking fun it is to play with words. And what music does for me. I'm a shaman. You'll hear me say that in my music. That's something I've recently discovered in the last couple of years of my life because of psychedelics. If you know what Kambada is, that artist Kambada, Bada, he's a shaman too. I stumbled upon him after my experience, and I was like, holy fuck, I know rap is for me. Like, there's so many serendipitous moments where life just confirms it for me. I don't even have to do anything. It's just I'm so lucky and blessed that I have things just going the way they are because of just me following my heart and being blessed enough.
He spits when he talks. You spit game when you talk.
Dude, I'm passionate. I love. I'm afraid to die.
The way I see it, Alpha, for real, is if you don't feel, and this goes for every rapper that's on the chat right now, and whoever sees this, if you don't feel the way this man feels about rap, then you shouldn't do it.
I appreciate that. It is true. I couldn't disagree with that either. If you don't, it shows. It's so easy to see. I mean, like I said, I have dreams of just having conversations with Tech or M, these top tier lyricists, and just telling them moments about when I caught certain cadences or flows or punches, and I'm just like, how did you? And then I know one day they'll be doing the same thing with me. It'll be the exact, because that's what students do. We look at each other's peer notes, review. I mean, you know, it'll always be, whether even you, anyone who studies hip hop nowadays, it's not the Source magazine like it was years ago. Now it's YouTube and internet, how you could consume it. And you know what, dude? If it weren't for Eminem wearing, like, you know, those old Rakim shirts or LL, I wouldn't have even probably dove there. I wouldn't have. I was born in 96. I wasn't.
Well, Eminem did say that in an interview with, I think it was Sway, that the reason why he does that is so he could put attention to, because he knows he has a lot of young fan bases.
And he's smart.
Like, and they're not going to know who Rakim, KRS-One. They're not going to know any of these guys.
Right. And when I heard the 18th letter, the prophecy professor, I fell in love with that. And then because it just blew me away.
But that whole album was fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It slept on.
Way ahead of its time.
He explained how he figured out syllable writing, listening to Mo Train, playing the saxophone and hitting notes 2 at a time when it was impossible. You shouldn't be able to hit 2 notes at a time, but he was doing it. He figured out a way to do it. And so he was like, wait, I can do that with writing, with a cadence. I can fit in 2 little snaps and where a big snap should be. Like, he figured that shit out. And I fell in love with that. I fell in love with learning how people just stumble upon their own writing processes. Like, I mean, I do my own lives. I do, like, I'm a very much just all around. I just absorb the culture. I really do. Like, that's the whole point of, I absorb everything. It's not just it's this world, this planet. I try to absorb this fucking planet. That's the truth. And absolutely, man, like, it'll always be from the student perspective of just learning, because, and I know one day, dude, everyone's getting better. The fact that I'm as good as I am is because the chain is just it's getting tighter and stronger. When I'm 45, when I'm 50, cats that are 26, 25 years old, they're going to be, oh boy, it's going to be crazy. And that's a fact. It's how it's going to be forever.
My thing about the way the rap game is right now is this. I've noticed that there's rappers that are, and I think we said this in the last one, Shakes, there's rappers that are tapping into being lyricism now.
Yeah,
they're trying to be lyrical rappers now when they've never attempted to do it before.
Facts.
Right.
Except Drake. Drake's album is trash.
I haven't given a spin yet. I don't really. I listen to whatever. Like, I feel like radio hits Drake, for the most part, I think I like, because I don't listen to Drake. I just don't. Now, back when I was in junior high, because I was in, I was just that you listen to what's popular when you're young. That's just how it is. I loved that era of Drake. I fucking, like, he sounded dope. Like, when Lil Wayne first found him, he was like, "Oh shit,
right.
You rap," and then he was like, "You can sing too. You gotta do that too." Like,
I just find like a lot of times cats that go really pop, if you listen to their come up was dope.
Yeah.
Drake's come up was lit.
for sure.
Fucking Currency's come up was lit. Wiz Khalifa's come up was lit.
Yup.
But
Big Sean has crazy. Woo.
But once they made it, once they had Pocket, they lost substance. But like early Drake, he actually had something to say.
I mean, yeah, he had.
I'm not an advocate of Drake, and like just because we're both from Toronto, that doesn't mean shit. But like, he doesn't have anything to talk about.
Nigga in your bathroom.
He doesn't have anything to talk about. I got his picture on my wall in my bedroom.
I know you do,
man. I love his voice, man. He's got a cool voice. He like his talking voice, his regular talking voice. I think he's got a cool ass. I've heard him in interviews. I like weird things like that. That's also true about me. So,
but I think substance is finally coming back into the game.
Well, here's the thing. It's hard to say it never left, because as far as
it almost left.
I don't know, because Cole and Kendrick, like as soon as like M disappeared, like not cool anymore, like Revival. Kendrick was 2014 popping, like, so he was. I don't see the gap of when things fell off, because I've always just been listening. To it.
You know where I think it fell off? When K-Dot, J. Cole, and all these lyricisms, all these lyricists started not putting out as much content as they did before. When they started doing less and less and less, and then these other rappers that were going in there were doing their thing, and they were like, okay, well, this is the window. Now we have an opportunity to just flood it, because these guys are sleeping right now.
Yeah, and that is the issue. When the heavy hitters, the biggest names are currently not doing much. That you're right, and I think that's where my focal point is with this conversation, is that my spotlight has always just been on the underground, and then eventually I became a part of it. So it's like, because being younger before I was a part of it, one of the dopest MCs, even to this day, Analyst. Like, Analyst is a top tier, and I was listening to him a junior in high school. So like Hobson, even before that, when I was junior high, like Mac Mill, there was just, it never stopped. It never, because eventually they all kind of rose in their own way. If they didn't go to the top, they still, I mean, Hobson, where he is, you can say as much as he goes ghost and doesn't drop, that motherfucker's following is still elite. He wraps things up with any issues he has. Crook, like Slaughterhouse, or Slaughter Gang, that little horseshoe.
The horseshoe gang?
The Dame, like all these cats. So I've always had them. And then Hobson was referenced in Eminem in that the Hobson, the Coles, like, you know, like, so yeah, it's fucking interesting to me to hear that raps never, you know, like the drop off for lyricism happen, because it's
And
like,
I love that you mentioned that little part of Hobson's, because Eminem in The Ringer on Kamikaze, he referenced that back because he was saying the J's,
right? Yes,
and everything. He was like, he already put his top 5 of lyricism right now.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that, and then when he mentioned Hobson, I'm pretty sure when Hobson made the video, he was losing his fucking mind.
Yeah. And honestly, I was waiting for what music he came out with after that, because it was a while. Even after he was like, "Oh, I'm so inspired to write," you know, I think it was No Shame we eventually got, or whatever that album was, where he's like kind of naked with the snakes. Dope album. I love. I mean, his music I'll always eat up. People who say he's corny like that, I guess it's warranted to be corny if you're emotional and you express your feelings, which to me is like, whatever. Like, I cool, you can feel that way, but we can joke. You can joke and say that all you want. Sure, that's funny, but like at the end of the day, it's not something to joke about, because it's what keeps people alive, talking about their feelings. And because he's dope. I've always been. I mean, he's never not his writing syllables. Tech picked it up early. That, you know, like they've been working for years because of how dope Hop has been. Like, I mean, and yeah. So when you've got them from my junior to high school to college to now I'm a part of it, like, you know, I'm like, bro, we're getting hip hop's. The sword is getting sharper every day. Like,
it really is, though. It definitely is. Like, I gotta think. Yeah. Like, me personally, I think that YouTube and the YouTube ciphers has a really big fucking play in that.
Yes,
I think the YouTube ciphers and all of these spitters just collabing together on massive fucking tracks, where somebody that's underground that you follow is now on a track with 6, 7, 8 different fucking dope spitters. Yeah. Everybody starts following everybody, and the circles grow bigger, the audience grows stronger. Like, I think that the underground hip hop game finally realized how to use the social media platform and YouTube to their advantage to benefit everybody.
Only if you, because here's the thing. My buddy, right? I'm talking about Angry Orphan, the other dude who I'm very humble for sure, but I do usually mean genuinely what I say, and I think he'll always be in a different level than me because we're just different artists and stylistically. However, he doesn't put in shit in terms of social media effort to grow. Like, he is just so dope. And he's just sitting in the trash can, like he's that diamond in the rough. Like he's that dude. He's that dude. He's okay in it, and like, you know. But I'm what exactly you're talking. There's a fucking blueprint. There's so many forms of blueprints nowadays, but the one that you're talking about, YouTube, the community, bro. 3 years, I'm only at like 2,000 subs, but that's because my shit's always just music. I'm just doing music. I'm not. If I react, it's because someone is like, this is someone you should hear. He's dope. Like, check him out. I'm like, dude, no doubt. I'm excited. And it's not like Eminem's drop. And that's not to hate, but that's just to show that the marketing and the growth that I'm having is purely for people who are like, that bar you said and so.
I remember you did a reaction to I believe you did a reaction to Trauma, the Traumatos.
I'm
sure you reacted to Trauma.
Yeah, and Trauma's the homie. And high res. I just randomly he was asking, let's do a world cipher or whatever, international rap cipher, and I just was like, right here, like I'm down, and he responded. Like there was no prior engagement, but he didn't know me. He picked me, and because of that, Blindsight kind of knew me from there, and then Blindsight got me on a feature, and he thought it was so dope, and people liked it, and they thought we were so good. Hey, get me on the cipher. You know, it just keeps going and going. K Legend got me on the Stop Sleep. Like, it just, and then you make music with these artists. Like, it just keeps going. That is a blueprint, but you don't have to.
That's where I found you. I found you in one of those ciphers.
Yeah,
same here. I found you in the Blindsight cipher too.
In the Blindsight cipher, yeah. And I heard you, and I was like, "Holy fuck! Oh, who is this man?"
Yeah, yep, yeah. Blindsights, and that's recent as fuck. Like that's That's definitely one of the
So
more
I
recent.
think we need to segue. I think we just with how much you gassed up your homie, we need to segue this into one track. You choose one track off the rule of 2.
I got you. I'm gonna look up at the playlist myself because
I'm looking at it right
crazy. It is honest. I think if because I think Wear a Mask track like what 14, that's the one that's personal. It's not just bars. Like, because that's what a lot of this is a whole Star Wars. I mean, like, I'm a big Star Wars nerd for sure. Like, I mean, this whole album, our group name is the Rule of Two, which is a concept in Star Wars. There's only 2 Sith Lords at a time, 2 of the greatest.
Nico is losing his mind right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nico. I mean, he because he's a Jedi. He loves all the good shit, and we're evil. We're Sith. So like he hates, but he puts up with us. So this whole thing is like old school hip hop, Star Wars references like crazy. There's 3.
now. You won't wear the mask?
We'll see.
No, I'm asking you to choose one.
Where to choose wearing a mask?
No, to choose one of the tracks.
I'm so stoned. I apologize. Yeah, wear a mask. Definitely, that's the one you want for sure.
All right, so this is right here, rule of 2, wear the mask.
Oh yeah, dude. Big Kahuna's asking about the track with Samad Savage I did. Ooh, that's one y'all got to throw up too if you ain't heard it. That's for sure. That's one where I challenged him straight up. Like straight up, I'm like, here's 64. Give me 64 back, and he did. He or 32, you know. And I heard him in an interview. You're talking like, man, he put me in a Lex Bratcher situation. Like I heard the verse, I'm like, fuck. Like I got to come at the same or better. And I like that's what I live for. Like that because Samad, that's a top tier artist to me, and for him to compare me to Lex, I'm just like shit. Like that's
dope.
I appreciate. Yeah, like not even as artists, but as that issue of competing. All right. Yeah, we'll get into this now.
Where the magic? But way to mask it. Beware the tragic, I wear the past as a way to mask it. I know the trauma, I wear it proud, but I hate the basket. And even moment I take it now when I think of asking if Tad is proud and not cloud of judgment and age is added. I'm wishful wishing, I'm wondering which that I should vision. A peaceful life with my father, a piece of life to give him. Inside a victim, my mind's predicting.
The first second you can hear the Cool G and the Rakim in it. It's just like,
Facts.
what the fuck?
Facts.
I'm like, am I listening to the 18th letter? Like,
Yo, I went back to Timberlands and pissy hallways right now.
That's what I'm saying though. But it's like it's got the grizzy shit and like you can definitely hear the influence in it. It's fucking dope.
Oh my
But I
God.
hate the basket, and even moment I take it now when I think of asking if Tad is proud and not cloud of judgment and age is added. I'm wishful wishing, I'm wondering which that I should vision. A peaceful life with my father, a piece of life to give him. Inside a victim, my mind's predicting, but time is ticking. I got these questions about your life on this mic, I ask it. My feelings leak, I'm about to blow, I'm about to gasket. Vulnerable discussion is shaman, my psyche stay impacted. Laying down these verses ain't never worthless, I aim at battle. The tank will rattle, the beat will breathe, the grenade to cattle. Amino acids, they fog my brain, no camino clado. An evil cackle, you hear.
I gotta bring it back a bit.
You have to bring it back.
Yeah.
This is a brain fuck right now.
Fuck, bro.
All of it.
Jesus Christ.
Gasket, vulnerable discussion is shaman, my psyche stay impacted. Laying down these verses ain't never worthless, I aim at battle. The tank will rattle, the beat will breathe, the grenade to cattle. Amino acids, they fog my brain, no camino clado. An evil cackle, you hear me laugh, best believe then that'll be the first sign that you're dead. I hope they go looking for you. Took the mental health to combine this culture to push it forward. It's time to cook, ain't no rhyming book, but this kind of effort never overlook it. Cause every line has design like it. It's dice is what I'm rolling, I'm throwing. I need a 9 to 7, kinda like my squad when we rollin', we throwing 9 to 7, the kind of weapon.
Woo, that shit crazy. Like that's one of my favorite. When you can take a sentence and say the same thing, but don't change it. Like don't change anything, but it means something completely.
Oh,
Kind of like my squad when we rolling, I'm throwing 9 or 7. Like same thing, dude. You need a 9 or 7 if you're trying to get lucky throwing them dice. When you roll your squad around, you want 9 or 7 people. Kind of like when I'm kind of like my squad when I'm rolling, I need a 9 or 7. Like, come on, like that.
That's
Love it.
Overlook it, cause every line has design like it. It's dice is what I'm rolling, I'm throwing. I need a 9 to 7, kinda like my squad when we rollin', we throwing 9 to 7. The kind of weapon you want on your side at 9 to 11. Filling up my lungs with the smoke and I'll snort the rhyming session. No find a Western, you'll find in the West my line progressions. I write the press, but outside I'm blessed, so recite my message.
Woo!
And then my boy's up here. Dude, same thing but different.
I haven't heard him spit. I can't wait.
I don't wear a mask, I stare and ask where my parents at. That's why I gave my name. It's a simple laugh at the cloudy past. Angry orphan morphed into something even the devil's cast. A tortured vicious devil, a different level of mortal deaths. Been a victim and been addicted to simple rhythm. Beneficial and manifested what I envision. Benefit from the side effects of the cataclysm. And I never left, I've been steady writing some new editions. So if there is truly other sides, and somehow while I'm on the mic I might could reach you in the afterlife, I'd ask you why. I'd sit there looking straight into your eyes and watch you lie. It's all you ever did until you died. And so it's back to angry, back to saving, bitch, you played me. Grasp the simple fact that I'm the only one who raised me, while your lazy stupid ass was on a daily dose of crazy. Not amazed the way you changed from pushing hope to pushing daisies. A couple new disorders, now I've
God damn it.
Yeah, same thing but different. Like I said.
Why y'all didn't tell me I need aspirin, bro?
Yeah. Don't listen to this album then if you don't got any.
I'm gonna have to now.
Let's go.
looking straight into your eyes and watch you lie. It's all you ever did until you died. And so it's back to angry, back to saving, bitch, you played me. Grasp the simple fact that I'm the only one who raised me, while your lazy stupid ass was on a daily dose of crazy. Not amazed the way you changed from pushing hope to pushing daisies. A couple new disorders, now I've ordered in the corners. How I know the darker forces come to close the final door in order. Border on the torture, form a version of my father's soldier. Burn nostalgia portions of the war retort, but not aborted. This story's beginning to come together.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yo,
It's
hey, should have to turn that back like 10, 15 seconds, brother.
It's back to angry, back to saving, bitch, you played me. Grasp the simple fact that I'm the only one who raised me, while your lazy stupid ass was on a daily dose of crazy. Not amazed the way you changed from pushing hope to pushing daisies. A couple new disorders, now I've ordered in the corners. How I know the darker forces come to close the final door in order. Border on the torture, form a version of my father's soldier. Burn nostalgia portions of the war retort, but not aborted. The story's over and mine's beginning to come together. I'll be me wherever.
I love listening to flows.
Yo, that man is fucking riding that beat.
I love those old school flows where the rhyme word is like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it's just like and
Six,
what?
I did it again. I think I peed myself.
Again?
A little bit.
Again?
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Border on the torture, form a version of my father's soldier. Burn nostalgia portions of the war retort, but not aborted. The story's over and mine's beginning to come together. I'll be me wherever you are, and I'll never be the lesser version of myself, like the one projected by father's devils, working on my health, all despite the pressure of lower levels.
Oh my God.
Fire.
Yeah, bro. The whole thing is just bonkers. Bonkers. Like the most slept on thing out there by far.
So lit.
When I do this album, I'm not gonna smoke. I'm not drinking. I'm not doing nothing.
Bullshit.
You'll love it, man.
You're a liar.
It's dope, man. It's just sonically it all. One of my favorite things to do is after a project is complete is arranging the track list. That is my I'll have 3, hopefully at the most 4 formatted track lists where I'm like, okay, these are all totally different arrangements. You got because it's all emotional aligned.
That
always.
part pisses me off because it's like,
Ooh, I love it.
Especially if they're gonna go on an album, you know they're all lit. So it's like it doesn't matter what order they go, but they gotta go in. There has to be order, but it's so hard to choose.
There's so many ways to do it.
I let my engineers and producers choose, and like I see how close they are together, and like it's a hard process.
It's that joint right there, or that whole album. My boy, he goes by the AJ Kid. He's an engineer and he's an art. Another dope. Arizona dope MC. That why are you surprised? You're not. We did the whole joint, that whole album there, and my boy AO, he lives in Texas, so he did his own vocals, sent them to us. But I had the arrangement of the album, and so we were able to like bleed every song like a real hip hop cohesive. One of my favorite things about those 99, 01, like 03 M albums, those 3 Eminem Show, like all those 3 golden albums. Movie. Dr. Dre made a movie. You could hear the scene skit ending in the intro of a song because you don't want to cut. No hard cut. You want that shit to bleed right through. And it's like chef's fucking kiss. If an album doesn't have that cohesive switch that you don't even know it has a switch.
I've always said it from the Slim Shady LP to the Eminem Show to Marshall Mathers LP to the Eminem Show. Yeah. I can play those 3 albums beginning to end with skits and not skip a beat and just let that bitch ride the whole time.
And there's only a few artists you can say that about. There's only a few artists where you can say you listen to an album and you're not skipping. Like I can name on one hand maybe the albums that I don't skip.
50's first album, Get Rich or Die Trying.
That's a easy one. For me, Halftime, like Nas's, like Illmatic, like Halftime.
Illmatic, Enter the 36 Chambers.
Yeah, yes. When I heard, because he literally called it Halftime, and it's halfway in the album, and I'm like, oh, this guy's well aware of how he's doing his shit. Like, and he was a kid at that time, and every like you were saying, not a single track to skip. Like, there's a few. Like for me, there's a lot of those because just the student of me where I'm just like, there's even if it's 2 lines or 1 line a song has, let's get to that point, the build up to that point, the payoff, and then ride the song out. The next song, like I just love. I'll hear.
Now that you mentioned Nas, my son probably just became your biggest fan. My son is a huge Nas fan.
I mean, it's hard, dude. Him and Cool G for me are like New York's.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm pretty sure like genre in time, those 2 for sure, because like Rakim was doing it nice. Like you had different times for when Queens and all that. That's a hip hop history lesson. Like there's
podcast.
The Foundation is a YouTube channel that since I was like 18 years old, I've listened to, and he just goes back to the 80s, 70s, like 79 probably is like in the 70s. But that's where I learned Grandmaster Flash. That's where I learned like about everybody from the 80s. Like that. Really? If I didn't hear this one guy talk about, one record on one side being 9 minutes long, 7 minutes long, you flip it over, the B side, it's like another 7 minutes long. It's like that's just a single was 3, songs on a vinyl. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like that blew me away. But they were cool because you could see the artwork and it was just advertising.
Back then they only spit 12s. They didn't spit 16s also.
See, me and Shakespeare are blessed that we were able to actually live it.
Yeah. Yeah, you were.
And me being from Brooklyn, New York, I lived it.
Yeah. Oh,
legitimately lived it.
Yeah.
It was everywhere.
I need it. I need that. I've been in Arizona my whole life. Ain't got nothing like that these days.
I remember my first rap album, and it was Wu-Tang's album.
36 Chambers.
Right on. Yeah. I told my mom, yo, let me hold $10 real quick. She told me no. So I sold the goddamn album.
Yeah.
And I ran to my crib. I put that bitch in my non-skip CD player, by the way. Your boy had money from back in the day. I played that shit, and it was from beginning to end. I was done. Method Man was my favorite rapper until Eminem came to the scene.
They're writing phenomenal. Like, and there's so many. I heard when M did that Godzilla challenge and Twista responded to it, bro. I was like, I'm sorry, M. I'm sorry, but you took the L. Not only that,
you know what's funny that you said that? You know what's funny that you said that?
What's up?
When I saw Twista post that shit, I went, fuck! God damn it, he's gonna get his Twista. Come on, bro.
Right.
It's Twista, it's the GOAT.
I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, where the fuck you come from, brother? Go back to Walmart or something, man.
Go back to Chicago and just fucking chill. Just go back and chill, man.
I'm an absolute stan. Nobody can tell me shit about Eminem. I'm an absolute stan. And then when he put that challenge out and Twista answered, I went, here we go.
Dude, Twista did a beautiful job. And like that was, Other than him always using the filler bar, breaking into particles, that was my only critique, because I've heard him say that in every song he's ever made, just about, which is okay. But as an MC, I'm a nitpick it, because I don't even like if there's an end rhyme that's the same if it's too close in a stanza or even a verse. Like, I'm like, you use that already. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Right.
That's a nitpick. Like, that's like, fuck that opinion. Like, if someone, I would never tell that to someone and like really make them feel bad for it. But yeah, man, Twisted on that shit was crazy. Khan did a remix to Rap God. Have you guys ever heard that shit?
No, I haven't.
Do you guys listen to Khan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't heard it.
A little bit.
Khan on that Rap God. I mean, like, he even says at the end, he's humble as shit. He's like, I'm aware that my version's not better than Eminem's. Like, that's not what I'm doing here. It is. It's way better than because I like chopping. I'm a chopper. I love chopping. I don't do it all the time, but dude, there's a song on that album, Lucky You. Like, I go off on that fucking shit. I go off. Like, I mean, syllables per second on that, I would love for someone to do. If it clocked out at 11, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, it's
So in your mind, you beat M.
In terms of I don't know, because enunciation with when I hear my shit versus him is so much different. Like, I don't know how fast I actually am. I really don't. So when people tell me if I am rapping fast, like, I can be like, no, that's not me rapping fast. I know when I'm rapping fast, and that's not when I tell people I'm rapping fast. I tell them Lucky You. Go to Lucky You. That's a fast rapping Alphabyte. But otherwise, people mix up fasting rap with just a long breath. Like, I do.
That's a fact.
I do like 4 8-bar punches. Like, that's the truth. Like, my shit. And if I didn't do that, which before a studio, it was the whole verse. I would plan my breaths in the verse so I could, like you do. You plan your breaths in your verse so you could one take things. I don't have to do that anymore. I don't. I have the privilege to just punch. My engineer was like, dog, you don't have to do that. I'm like, all right, well, let's just punch in every 4 or 8 bars, dude, because I don't need to prove to anyone that I can do, because people, that is a thing. Performing these things live it's like, people think it's going to be so impossible. It's like, you guys not know performing? Like, get me one good, which will be my engineer, my hype man, finishing, because he's also a rapper to my caliber, at least, different avenue. Like I always say, he can finish my shit for me. If I just need him to finish a bar and so I can take a breath, that's easy. It's not that hard. Like, people think, like, now do that live. It's not going to be hard. Like, Tech Nine's whole fucking Fear album is about the songs he was afraid to do live. He made a whole album of songs that way. It's like, that's how you should approach it. You challenge that shit. But there's aspects and avenues, because I watch.
That's why, like, a lot of cats that are on the come up need to stop fucking with that auto tune and shit like that. Because when you perform that shit live, you're gonna sound like shit.
And that's their own lesson to learn. They can learn that. They can learn that. And then they learn it.
Let them die. If they die, they die.
Yeah, I had a question for you. When was that moment where you're like, how old were you, or how long ago was that moment when you're like, yo, I'm lit, I'm dope, I can spit?
There's levels to it. It grew, because when I was younger, before I was being affirmed by others, like I said, I was just like listening, making fun of songs as they were going, and then I'm like freestyling to instrumentals, and I'm like, that cliche of hearing anything else on the radio that I don't think is impressive, I'm like, what I'm saying now freestyling is better. Like, to me, I was just very objective about it. There was no like that this one bar or song, just someone told me I was the shit. It grew. Like, it really grew from confidence in myself, because it started coming as early. I have it's already up, but I have someone who in Mesa, which is just a little bit away from Phoenix here in Arizona, they stumbled upon some of my earliest music, one of my most personal songs, and he loved it so much. It's a fucking, I'll get it real quick. It's a colored pencil, like psychedelic hand-drawn artwork. And he called it the name of my song because my song inspired it. And it's dope as fuck. And so early affirmation from others was cool, but it always kind of grew from within, for sure.
Yeah, go get that real quick. I want to see. Ray, did you get a lot of ish from blasting? Wow.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
Oh, look at that.
Oh my God. That's absolutely nuts.
That's fire.
Yeah, and like that was so early on, and I'm so like I'm blessed. Like that's the answer for all of it. Like I'm just blessed that I'm here, man. Like I got lucky. I really did, man. Because there was no moment. Like it's just grinding every fight. I put an hour. Even when I was working, I was a security guard for a number of years. I wrote when I was supposed to be working. I wrote when I was supposed to be working. I wrote when I was supposed to be clocking it. I write. I love it. Now I don't need to do it every day. If I could, I would. But even if I can get just 20-minute increments for a song here, there, and there, that's all I need. I can get anywhere from.
I used to get in trouble. I used to be a security. I used to do security at nightclubs, and I used to always get in trouble because there used to always be a circle around me and a couple of my friends that were there because we'd always have a cipher going. Where we'd be spitting better shit than the people that were on stage, and the owner or the manager would be like, "Dude, again." You
can't be circling up, man.
Let me go on stage. Like they think there's a fight, or they see it on camera and they come down like, "What's going on?" Oh, it's just Shake's fucking freestyling again.
Yeah, and I was that dude, man. I was just writing when I was supposed to be working. I loved it. Or just any down.
My question is, are you going to write for my 24-bar Relax Your Fire challenge?
If you listen earlier, you do notice that I don't do any of my own recording, or like I have to now, because I live in Phoenix, I have to drive an hour plus just to get to the studio, and then it cost me money to use the studio, and I only make money off music, and it's not that much. So unfortunately, I don't just do. If it's my music and I'm getting paid to record for a homie because he's obviously paying me, or I just told him like I'd do a verse for him, I don't do challenges really. Like if I do, it's because I know I'm getting some sort of deal from my homie who's like, come and do your song, we'll do that. So like that's the reality. I'm not even gonna try to lie.
I'll give you $15.
The studio is too much money, man.
I'm broke, brother. I ain't got that much money.
Dude, so you see what you're asking me. Like it's I'm the same as you, man.
That's understandable. It makes sense.
But I'm trying to get my own, like, I mean, there's no reason why I can't just learn to at least get my shit recorded and then have him actually, at least, because it's like 30 to record, another 30, 40 to mix and master. So it's like, if I can even cut that in half, that would eliminate me saying no to these opportunities, because the ones I do every now and then, I'm like, if I don't fucking win this, I get triggered. Like I'm that competition. I'm an MC. I'm like, one, that's a whole thing. And then two, I'm like, $80 or 100, whatever it ends up being. I'm just like, just to not get picked.
That's what I'm saying though. Cats don't realize that. So like, just like you, for the exact same reasons, I have my own studio, but I don't engineer my studio. And then, so you pay for this, you pay for that, you pay for this. And when you lace a verse and you enter it and you're hype on your verse, literally the first thing you say when you get it back and listen to it is, I better win this shit.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And the biggest lesson is that I should just be doing it all myself. Like and I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with anyone can learn to do it. Like from what I understand, it doesn't take much. And I think I've got, this is for writing. I prefer to type because my shit can't keep up. And then I've got a big TV monitor, and then I've got a regular monitor. So it's like, I know I can mix. I got a nice computer. I got little panels there I just moved to the crib. So that's like a temporary setup. I got to get them actually attached to the walls. But like, yeah, man, like I can get shit up and running myself, but because that would be awesome. If I didn't have to actually plan a budget for an album, because the Rule of Two, that album that you guys are going to bump, that 16 show, that hundreds of dollars to make that. And I don't fucking care of the response of what the money will get back from it, because it's at the end of the day, I'm like, I want to do this album. Like if it costs me money to go see a movie, guess what? I got to pay money to see the fucking movie. So right. So I had no issue with it at all. And I just get excited at the idea of like, oh, at this point, because I've been paying for years, I'm going to start saving money because of just the way I'm changing. So that would be amazing to be able to do.
You get to just fire your stems over to your dude, as opposed to like
at least
gas money, driving, recording costs.
Dude, it's like $6 a gallon right now in Phoenix. I don't know how bad it is for y'all. Yeah, it's $6 up here.
I'm in the Philippines and it's pretty fucking expensive.
Whew,
It's like
yeah.
it's like in the Philippines, it's like $2 a liter, and I don't know how many gallons there are in a liter. Like I don't play that.
Not
I
that
don't
man
do
either.
Well, I think it's 3, so I think it's $6. I think it's the same.
Okay.
price.
Yeah. Like in
Exactly.
My shit cheap, man. I'm at 4. What is it? 481.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, that is. It's still ridiculous, but that is.
But I'm in a third world country where like fucking like people don't make enough money to afford the fucking gas, so they're on verge of like striking and fucking protesting in the streets and shit.
That's crazy. I don't know. I really don't know what this world needs. Like I'm lost when I try to. I before COVID, once quarantine was starting, there was like this world pain I was feeling for a number of weeks, and it hurt. Like I was like, I couldn't go through a single day without hurting. Like I could cry just thinking about what people are going through. Like just everywhere,
Everywhere, everybody's dealing with something different. Everybody's on. My 2-year-old son, or not 2, my at the time 4-year-old son, was holding the gate at the front of our house, because here where we live in the Philippines was on complete lockdown. If you left your house and you're not going to get if you're not just going to the grocery store and going home, or going to get gas and coming home, you were getting fined, you were getting tickets, you were getting arrested. My 4-year-old was holding the fucking gate, singing, "Outside, I want to go outside." Like, as a father, like, I was like, no, that's so cute. But then the second part of me was like, I just want to fucking cry right now. Because I want to take my kid to the park. I want to take him to the zoo. I want to take him to the ocean. Like, it's just bullshit. Everybody everywhere has their pain of how the world was crying from COVID. And that's my COVID pain. That was my COVID pain.
Well, even that was just a moment of identifying it, and because that was the first time where I felt it from everyone. Like, I mean, I thrived. Like, I was blessed. I was fucking just kicking ass in every dynamic. Like, I mean, every way, physically, mentally, like I just great. And then I was just fucking, dude, I could feel I'm that much of a shaman, bro. Like that empathy, that the world, bro, that I feel it, and it extends. One day it'll extend past that. Like I'll die, and it won't just be this physical place that I feel. And like these days, that pain is not there. Now I'm just seeing everyone turning away from nature. Like they're human. Like we're turning away as people, like what our instincts tell us to do. We clog them. We are just, this is not, like I've had beautiful experiences on psychedelics, like not the kind where like recreational people just sit there and like, I mean, very spiritual, very
you connected to earth, you connected to the universe.
I mean, not even that. I connected to my ancestry. I connected to history. I connected, like there's, yes, the physical world around me, there was that and all that too. But like, ever since those kind of experiences, I'm able to identify like, oh wow, this isn't my pain right now. This is the world's pain that I'm feeling. It's just, it's in me. Like I can't deny that. So the first time the COVID thing, like that was the world pain I felt. Now it's not there. Now I just see everyone angry and just like I said, they're turning away from nature. Like they're themselves. They're turning away from like just going back to being a hunter and gatherer. Those simple instincts of, hey, are you feeding yourself? Are you drinking water? Have you fucking loved anyone lately? Have you felt love lately? Like all these simple premises that we lost over time, which is not anyone's fault. Like the world we live in is so fucking, it forced it. I think
the reason why though is because the fear without.
Yeah, the unknown too. Like it's both. Yeah, it's
nowadays going into that level mentally the way you get there, it is anxiety filled and fearful for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, anyone for real, myself included. I mean, yeah, it's it is. I'm afraid of not dying, but I'm afraid of one day, like, wow, this is all gonna be gone. That's gonna be, and you know, we don't know what's after for sure, and it could be, you know, you could do it all again for all you know. But like, as an adult and since psychedelics, that the mortality that I've come to accept is blessed. Like I'm so fucking lucky. Like I'm so blessed. Like that's all it is now. Like I don't have a fear of dying, but I'm like, yeah, I have a fear of losing what I've built and what I see and what is me, what I am. Like even you two, this conversation, like all of it, the inner connectings of how this happened and what's going to happen afterwards. Like it's cliche, and all those cliches I've found, those exist for a reason. It's like life is cliche. Like life is literally cliche. Like you're going to have that moment where you just realize something that you're like, fuck, that is so cliche. And I can't believe like here I am having that moment. Like I had that with my personal relationship with God on a psychedelic where I heard him and he told me the one thing I needed to hear at the time. And it blew me away because I denied my faith for years, denied it. Like I had a very shitty start of life, very shitty. So shitty. And I had no other way to accumulate that to logic other than saying it's your fault. And when I heard, you know, it all changed for me one day, and like my identity, my ego, my form of identity peeled away, and I was like, wow, if I'm wrong with this, I'm probably wrong with every other thing that like makes my stomach curl, make me sit uncomfortably when I think of something, because I just, you know, it was just one of those things, and that's perspective. That's all it is. It's just perspective. It was just a fucking thought. It was a thought, and my whole shit changed with that. There's a comfort now with faith. You know, it's a foundation of structure of responsibility and love. Like it's more than anything. It's something that is there as a guide. And I didn't have that before. Just bottom line, I didn't have that before. And someone who doesn't have that, you don't. Not everyone needs it, but guess what? If everyone had it, oh man, like. I can take a deep breath just imagining how it would feel for the world, of how much we would just feel better if we all just found that love. Like that's all it is. It's a source of comfort and love, whether it's in your kid, whether it's in someone that's not real, whether it's in a craft. Like not everyone has it, and it's stupid. It's stupid.
And that's it. And I agree with you 100% because I don't know about Shakes, but me, I was an anxiety-filled mess before I started doing reaction videos. And I'm in my mind, I'm just like, if I want something to happen, it needs to happen now. I'm too impatient for that. It needs to happen, whatever. So it goes for anything, for my job, things at home, whatever the case is. I need it to happen like that. So I lost my faith when I got sober. And then I lost my faith a little more as I was already sober. Because I was like, it's not working for me. But what was I really doing? But bitching and complaining about it's not working.
Right. Yeah.
And then I just sat down one day and closed my eyes. I was born Catholic. So I still go to God for everything that I need. And then I was just like, you know what? And I pretty much left it in his hands. I was like, I'm just going to put my head down. I'm going to grind. I'm going to do what I got to fucking do. If it happens, it happens. It doesn't, it doesn't. Everything that happened after my first video is 50% God, 50% me. And that's how it works. I grind and I do my thing. I keep my head down. I try to help as much people as possible. And I try to just be very positive around everything I am. And then it just happens.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just leave it at that. And I'm like, I do my thing. You do your part. I'll do my part. And we'll meet in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. And you can't. If you were to try to explain that to someone who didn't have their own, because if you ever hear me say faith, it's usually just my relationship to what I perceive as some sort of God or whatever. And if you explain that to someone without a faith, they are going to get hung up on the chicken or the egg, which came first. And in your example, it's the damn, I just had it. I'm sorry.
Somebody asked me that question in that context that we're talking about right now. And I told them, does it matter?
Oh, right. Yes. And and you just reminded me exactly. And it's like, God will do his 50, I'll do my 50. And it's like, the answer is not like you giving that example isn't even the right truth, right? Like that's our way of trying to explain the logic of how it works, because it's like, it just is. It's like the air you breathe. There's a reason for it. Sure, you have lungs, blah, blah, oxygen. They need blah, blah. But it just is. You're not asking why are you breathing in the oxygen? Why is it oxygen that humans need? Blah, blah. Like there's a reason. You can narrow it down. That's not what matters. Like what life is like that's it. It's as it is. That is it. It's just set. There is no. Will that person care if it's 50-50? Do they care if it's maybe it should be 60-40? Why should they'll get hung up on these stupid semantics.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't matter. That what are you
None
doing?
None of that matters. Just
right. Yeah.
The way I see it is, dude, we're here. I wholeheartedly believe that everyone is here for a purpose. Everyone is existing here for a fucking purpose. It is your job to find out what that purpose is. If you're too lazy, if you two don't want to do it, it's too hard, too much work. I got to do too much to try to find. If that's your mentality, then I would just say just climb on a chair, put a rope around your neck, and get it over with. Because if you're not even going to attempt to try to live your life the way you want to, then why are you even fucking bothering? You're just a waste of my space.
Right, and it's the guidance, like that perspective of like. The experiences I've had with psychedelics are what they were, but the thoughts after have been more comforting than some of the experience. Like I've had a couple of thoughts where, for example, if I were to die and I to this day and I was before God and he looked at me and he was ashamed. He was like, you know what, Tynan, that's my name, Tynan. I gave you your body and this is what you do with it. I let you get your life. I gave it to you, and this is what you did with it. And when I had those thoughts in my experience with psychedelics, I was tail between the legs. I was so embarrassed. I was like, you're right. Like my insecurities come from my expectation for myself, which led to an expectation to like what God has for his children. Just like examples of me being a body. He gave me a fit male conditioned body, like in this life to live a certain way. And then I had the moment after that experience, which is less about my physical self. And it was more of like, oh, wow, maybe his whole point is for everyone to have that moment of like, I want everyone to walk this path you're on. I want you to feel like you're unique and you're special but I want everyone to feel like that. I want everybody to have that moment of realization to where they think I chose them because they're special and because everyone should feel that way because you are, because that is the truth, because and then there's more of that. I had, like God is all of us. Like we're all God experiencing life in a different body. Like I've had so many of these different, and I don't think about them being right or wrong. All I do is think about them. And if they feel right in me, that's all I need. It's comforting. And it's debatable. It's conversation. It's interesting. But those are some thoughts that I've had post mushrooms specifically and acid. Like I said, only a few experiences. I don't seek them like at all. If I stumble upon mushrooms, I have a routine with them where I pray and I meditate with them. And
see, I think I got bad mushrooms because I took it once and I spent 4.5 days looking for my shoe. So we had two different experiences.
How much did you eat? Do you know how big it was?
It was about like 7 caps, but that's not
okay.
I was looking for a shoe for 4 days. I couldn't find it. So me and you had two different experiences in psychedelics. That's why I don't do it.
Yeah, they're all different, dude. I would never recommend them either. They're all because I knew they were different for everyone. When I would tell people about my experiences, then they're like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, that sounds like some DMT or ayahuasca shit. Like, I have a very sensitive, like, if it's caffeine, like, I smoke like crazy. Like, I smoke weed like crazy. Like, if I, any substance, like, in my family, abuse, like, like, there's a very strong thing in my family. That being said, I don't, luckily blessed enough to not have issues other than, I smoke weed. And you can say that's an issue or not, whatever. But My point is, like, I'm so sensitive to things. Yeah,
You want
right.
some?
Dude, I got some of this good right here.
Oof.
Right, I don't even know what it is. Some guava ice or some shit. But yeah, man, like the shrooms, they're not for everyone. You're absolutely right. They're not, and I would never recommend them to anyone. Never, I wouldn't.
After my experience, I told everybody to stay the fuck away from that shit.
I'm like Joe Rogan. Like shrooms are my favorite. Like I love
Yeah,
shrooms.
they're beautiful, man. Yeah,
I like
They
sit
can.
back. Like honestly, like you just sit back. This is me. Sit back, relax, and I don't care where I am. I'll go out my house and I'll lay in my backyard. I just look at the sky, and you'll never see the sky the same way again. I never see the moon, the sky. Like, I'm one with nature when I'm high, man. I like when I'm on mushrooms. I just sit
Do you have a
back and
preferred dose, or do you always just do a different amount?
No, I always eat like a gram. I always eat like a gram or a gram and a half.
What's the highest you've ever taken?
What's the most I've ever taken?
Yeah.
2 grams.
Wow, my dude, cracking at the door. Would you ever take more?
I don't need to. It makes me feel good. Why? If I feel like amazing, like when I take shrooms, I have the best feeling.
Want to
the
know
best
the example I'll give you?
feeling ever. Like why take more and ruin that?
I got you right here. If you open a book and you love the book, and you just read the first 20 chapters, and it's 100 chapters long, and you love the first 20 chapters, why wouldn't you just finish the 100? I'm not saying to do a max amount. I'm saying read more pages. Go do another, like, because I agree with you. I have my comfort range too, but there is something that comes, like you would obviously know, growing from 1 to 2 grams, as simple as that. Like you can, like 2.5, 2.2, 2.3.
Some of my friends gave me really good examples as to why not to, though.
Oh, there are examples why not.
The people, like,
just wanted one example why you should, though. So
there would be 15 of us doing it at the same time, going to the baseball diamond or just hanging out in the park, and there were like 3 or 4 examples of why you cap it at a certain level, because some of them were just over the top. I guess everybody has their own fucking high and handle it differently, but it's like they did some fucked up shit where like we all drank beer, but one of them turned into like Frank the Tank. No, I'm good. I'll stay at my 4 beers and let you drink your 30. Like, but no, it's just there was no need. I didn't see a need to. Maybe the next time I do, I'll give it the Alphabyte try, and I'll try like 3, and I'll send you a text, be like, yo, thank you.
well, I was gonna even say, like, don't even go straight to 3. You know, like if you are gonna get the 3 one day, do 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. Like I'm talking babies, because that jump, it's not fair. And then, like, do you smoke weed when you're on shrooms? Do you smoke weed at all? Okay, so like you should know, like as soon as you smoke, when you're an hour into that trip, it's like the visuals just, I mean, immediately, like I've had the most recent time, like a past shaman put his hand on my forehead, and I just had finished ripping the bong, and I went to just sit down on the toilet because I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. So I sat down on the toilet, and I was just sitting there, and he had his hand on my head, and he was just like, this shit is starting. Like you just smoked a fat ass bowl, and you're hours into your trip. Like, because I smoke so much, like it's a baseline. So 3-4 hours go by, I'm like, my baseline, I'm gonna smoke. Like I get my baseline. And so what I hit my baseline when I was tripping, and dude, the lights, I mean, the trip just turned on automatically to a different level just because of that one bowl rip. And that was 3 grams. That was my highest is 3. And that's, I know for myself, like every shroom trip, it kind of is the same in terms of the come up. I'm always sick. I feel so shitty the first hour or so. It's awful. I mean, I'm so sensitive.
I can't stop laughing.
My stomach fucks me up, dude. Like, it's weird. My physical issues when I am coming up, they're all enhanced. Like, it makes no sense. It's probably anxiety based. I mean, that's usually how those kind of things are. But yeah, man, that's like I said. I would.
When you're describing how you are on shrooms and acid and everything, I was addicted to Roxy's for like 15 years.
What are those?
Roxy's.
Roxy's. Is that pills? What are those?
Yeah, they're pills. So I was addicted to that and Coke. So it was like it was like an up and down at the same fucking time.
Yeah.
But it got me to a point where everything that it came through my head, everything that I thought about, it was just a trip to the point where I'm like, I understand life now a little bit more.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, but then it got bad. It became a problem, and it became an addiction.
Yes, and that's something because I mentioned it earlier. It's just in my blood. I have my own little like high school. I grew up with my grandparents my whole life. I said I had a little shitty life, and I did. I spent like ages from grade 2, second grade to graduating high school, all with my grandparents. And they're old. They have medication. I found those fucking pills. I found methadone. I fell in love with methadone as a 14, 15-year-old. And that was awful. Like that is terrible. I learned what that was. I learned what it actually is. My grandparents caught me one day. They were like, and then I questioned why they even had it because of what it was for. So I was like, what the fuck? But that's besides the point. But early on, very easy to identify that craving for. That's how I am with weed. I need it. It's a baseline. Now I have terrible withdrawals if I don't smoke.
See, and that's what I was gonna say, because I was trying to find something that was gonna keep me balanced, that wasn't gonna fucking kill me one day, but to get me to the same point. I wasn't a big weed smoker. When I told you it was just coke, pills, and liquor, that's all I was doing.
Yeah.
And then I decided, you know what? I stopped all that. Let me go. I'm just gonna start smoking weed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm smoking, and I kind of fucked up. I ain't gonna lie. My boy said, "Yo, I got some wax." And mind you, I haven't smoked in years.
That's not something you go to.
But I didn't know that.
Right, of course not. But yeah,
you're talking to a dude that took 3 Roxys with 2 lines of coke and 4 shots. A wax weed? That ain't shit.
Yeah, different levels, huh?
And I ripped it, and I said, "Hold the fuck on. What just the fuck happened?" That got me to a point. I literally was sitting in the store in my job, sitting in the customer service chair, looking at a TV show when I'm supposed to be closing the goddamn fucking store.
Yeah, that sounds about right, bro.
And then the next thing I know, it's 11 o'clock at night, and my wife I got 17 missed calls. The alarm company's calling me, and I'm just like, what the fuck did happen, bro? Like, wow. From that point on, I fell in love.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I smoke every single fucking day. Yeah. And it's not going to stop. I fucking love it.
That's so. I think everyone remembers their first dab. Like those who ever do it, like it's hard not. Like I was in high school and they were in Arizona. There's really nothing to fucking do. So if it rains and there's like a ditch somewhere, everyone and their mother with a truck is gonna go out and like just, it's called romping. Like you just fucking just do dumb shit with your truck in there. But it's Arizona, so it's like a riverbed, and so there's fucking roots of bushes, and it's not easy, and it's dark out. So I took a dab for the first time. It was offered, and there was like 3 different trucks, so all different groups of homies in them. And I went with the guy I knew who was 1, sober, and 2, was like the most. I was like, yo, he knows everything about trucks. He can fucking on the fly fix a truck on like, if he needed to. I just went with the safest dude. So after that dab, I was in space looking at hyperspace going through slip space. Like it was like up close. All I saw were headlights looking at the dirt and ridiculous curving left, right. I mean, it was. I'll never forget it. I was so high. I felt like I was in a movie. I literally felt
like you were in the fucking Millennium Falcon in hyperdrive.
Yep. I feel the same thing. I feel the same way because I left out of the store after that rip, and I have to drive an hour from where I work at. So it's nighttime. All the street lights are on, and on the main road. It's like fucking crazy lights, billboards, and everything around me. So I'm driving. I'm like, these lights are gorgeous. I'm not even looking at the fucking road at this point. Yeah. I'm just admiring all the lights, and I was like, because it just rained, so it had that like nice glow.
Oh yeah, right.
Woo! I was in love.
Yeah, honestly, I have a Dizzy Wright is an artist where I was like I don't know if I was just like really just falling in love with. I think it's a couple things because I have like a real attachment with weed because it's so. It's weird, but it has like a physical presence in my life in terms of I can remember who I was as a person before it, during it, like after, like all these different phases, and it's like the person I was. I don't know. It's like a relationship when you're falling in love with someone or something. That like honeymoon period or whatever, that real intimate. Like I had that with Dizzy Wright, listening to like the what was it the Agreements. He has an album where it's just like Big Crits on it, Tech Nines on it. Like he's got these real OGs on it. But like listening to certain artists while falling in love with who I was becoming while smoking weed all at once, like writing my own music, because my intimate space for years writing was my car. I would just love playing instrumentals in my car and then writing there. And security guard, I'd be in my car at construction sites from like 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. So it was just like in my car again. And so, yeah, you take that and it's like, okay, I have a very specific way of doing things now without even realizing it. But it's like adaptive. I was able to, now I don't do that. Now I have to write with whatever. I type on this. I used my phone for like 5-8 years.
It's so hard for me to write, man. Like, noisy kids, fucking the wife, just businesses.
Yeah.
I struggle finding that 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes of just peace and solitude that I need for me to just fucking write.
Yeah,
I don't have it.
I mean, it's hard.
I don't have it. It's so hard for me to find it.
Yeah, you have to make that time. Like it doesn't just make itself these days. Like if you have that much shit going on, like I'm.
No, but like if you came here, my house is literally, the view of my house is a fucking active volcano. So it's like you would think it would be very easy for me to find that fucking spot in that place. Nope. No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're that damn busy, bro, I mean, you got priorities.
Well, you know what? I just smoked a blunt and I hit my pen, and I think we need to listen to another track.
Nice.
I think you're right.
Down.
I'm in the mood for some chaos.
Oh yeah, that's one. A little bit old now, but it holds up strong. It holds up for sure. Because Samad's the homie. He made the beat, and he gave me. I think it's either 32 and 32 where we both. I think it's 32 and 32. That sounds about right.
I did a couple of Samad Savage's tracks last night on my live.
Oh, not did you get to Black Tom Holland at all?
I didn't do that. It did it by itself.
Oh, you're good. Black Tom Holland though is crazy. He's so talented. Like I love because he's so open about who his idols are and who he looks up to, and it's like, oh, you are exactly who, like kind of how you guys were hearing the Cool G rap influence and all that. Like he is exactly like, he's like, oh, Lupe Fiasco, Kanye West, 808 Heartbreaks era. Like he's just a very specific sound and style, and then he's just a lyricist to the core. Like it makes no sense. Like he's got like, I always think him and Merkins are on the same talent level, but again, Avenue branches, that whole MC conversation. Like Merkins another
one, bro.
Yeah, if I ever even just get to meet him, like it would just be a conversation about me saying how dope and good he is. Like that was kind of like our the interview we did with him on the podcast. Yeah, he's so cool too. Like he's the fucking he is what I strive to be. Every artist should be striving to be like Merkins. Rap on the spot. Go to this radio station. Rap for them. Oh, go to the fucking in front of Phoenix.
See the billboard? You see his billboard in Phoenix?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
I said it in the interview. The hardest working rapper in the fucking industry. That man is everywhere.
He's got
everywhere.
He's got a strong team pushing him. Like he's got. He's. Like I said, goals. Like everything about him.
Let's jump into this. We got Alphabyte, Chaos featuring Samad Savage. Let go. Beats. It doesn't even drop yet.
No faith in order, I took this pain and I made it sort of. Maybe they've been waiting so patiently for the baby boy to blow up like a mortar. It's crazy to think the world avoided. Anytime my name it gets brought up, I'm not afraid to load it. Name a time of day to replace it, that's where the rate of flow. An alien in orbit, I'm beaming in different space to show the chaos in my nature. I think about it, prevailing those. Got people in my circle around me, I try to angle those. Align them with the dream that I have, I guess it's a pedestal. The pressure that I put on myself.
Yeah, that's right. People try to circle, or well, I don't even know what it was. The circle around, try to angle. Yeah, there's too much in there.
Let's go.
Avoid it anytime my name it gets brought up, I'm not afraid to load it. Name a time of day to replace it, that's where the rate of flow. An alien in orbit, I'm beaming in different space to show the chaos in my nature. I think about it, prevailing those. Got people in my circle around me, I try to angle those. Align them with the dreams that I have, I guess it's a pedestal. The pressure that I put on myself is incredible. Goals in mine and I roll the dice, I'm a soldier fighter. Took that bar of gold and I sold it just like a 49er. Demons in my head, I can hear them screaming.
That's right. That's right. There's a lot in there, man. It's
a lot.
I'm a soldier fighter. Took the bar of gold and I sold it just like a 49er. Like that shit. Woo! Woo! The cadences, man. I have so much fun with that.
Those align them with the dreams that I have, I guess it's a pedestal. The pressure that I put on myself, it comes with incredible goals in mine and I roll the dice. I'm a soldier fighter, took that bar of gold and I sold it just like a 49er. Demons in my head, I can hear them screaming. The holy water isn't doing nothing, I need an angel, forgive me, Father. The fear is risen, I see the visions of freedom glisten.
The production is
I see the scriptures, can't read them wishing. The text is missing, the sex addiction will stretch a limit. I think you a savage, I pick a flow and perfect it. When did people start to notice that talent is not a reference? I'm the perfect mix of balance, I'm using it as a weapon. The future is intercepted in music. We've been directed to be looking in the future and view what I say. I reckon like, what's the matter? They think to get it. They think the kid is always in my head, but I'm always out and I've reached the limit. Instinct is kicked in extinction. You're on the brink of it. When anytime I pick up a mic and recite your English written, the beat's dripping. I sink my teeth in the beat.
Boy, that man, breathe, nigga, breathe.
You know the track's flames when there's no hook. It's just straight bars. You know that they're just spitting fire when there's no hook, and they're like, "Fuck it, we don't need a hook."
That's my shit for sure.
Fuck.
What's the matter? They think to get it. They think the kid is always in my head, but I'm always out and I've reached the limit. Instinct is kicked in extinction. You're on the brink of it. When anytime I pick up a mic and recite your English written, the beat's dripping. I sink my teeth in the beat. I'm twisting. Got another cone that I'm rolling. I guess a sweet addiction isn't something that I'd be stressing. I know the weed will hit him. Took a dab. I'm so out of breath, and I think the room is spinning. I take these bitches to groomers, bitches barking when I'm biting.
We just talked about dabs 2 minutes ago.
Right? Yeah.
Fucking A, boy.
Fucking A, what are you, Canadian? I'm the Canadian here, pal.
Rumors this is I take these bitches to groomers, bitches barking when I'm biting will leave you removed like humor imprints. Pursuing interest, I think I grew in the root of it is finally I'm pushing you, pulling while staying clueless, and it's giving me a topic to talk about. Heard the tune of it when now it's time to pass it like magic, the 82 edition.
Already knew the kid who produced the hit was coming back.
Nah, fuck that, nigga. Don't fucking come in like that.
Yep.
You can't come in like that, bro.
You had to. There's no other way. Now I'm about to pass it like Magic, the 82 edition. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. What did Magic do the year he came in the game? What did he do what did he do?
Alphabyte, you need to relax.
What did he do? That's that first year in the league. What did Magic do? Can you guys tell me? He won. He won it. He won it all. He won it all. Now I'm about to pass it like Magic, the 82 edition. You got to come in going like, dude, Samad, woo, he's the right one to give it to. He's the only one who could just take
and
that.
You see, I like that shit. I like that shit because you understand that if there's a dope rapper you're going to feature with, you can't give those ABC bar bullshit. You need to come and to try to destroy it.
You need to bring the flames.
The pass off bars to me is like the trademark of what I go for in these collabs that are like this. You know, it's just like that final bar you're hearing right before the next artist. It's like that's one of the most impactful lines you got to hear in the whole song. If that line's not dope, there's that opening line and then there's that last line. They got to be dope.
It's already been talked about in the chat, but yo, that artwork lit.
Yeah, it is nice.
Shout out to Jackson Pierce.
Yes, he is the
Now
homie.
it's time to pass it like magic, the 82 edition.
Already knew the kid who produced the hits was coming back to beat it again. I'm on my abusive shit. Too exclusive proof that I do this without accoutrements. You do music, you do it stupid. I move like ludicrous. Just like that, no broke. I prefer ball, just like cat. A fly stunner, I collect numbers, just like stats. I'm all about my pants and use rubbers, I just might snap. How do I think of this? Go dumb like a basic bitch that ain't got brain for shit, but great old tips who knows me, so she blows me like a handkerchief. And I'm doing numbers with my paper, making statement shit. If you ever try me, I prove you pay for it. You niggas can't prevail. Rapper that's producing auto tune, make sure I'm singing well. A lot of y'all do that. Compared to me, it's like you came to fail. Lil Nas X, you see that pole? You know I'm bringing hell where you can dwell. I'm so iconic, spin your block until I vomit. Sick, like who the is, you know who shot it. Clips, I push the malice, not a challenge. Sip, your girl gon' goblet, not a chalice. Pardon me, I'm just freestyling. We so savage, even the Alphabytes. Look how we be wildin'. I might have to pull some strings on the swipe, but we are here for violence. Like the background, need a moment of silence, like shh. What was that sound? Strongest with the green. They was looking at the pack loud. No choice but to raise the roof. It's like I brought Shaq out. I'm mad out, but I hand it to you. You're weak. Like you got back out. With J-Lo on the carpet with Diddy, you niggas back out.
His punches, bro. His punches are so mean.
Oh, Jesus.
Woo. That's our boy.
Yo, shout out Jackson. Just entered the chat. What's poppin', homie?
Homie JP, what's up, brother? Yeah, I took one of those stimulus checks and I gave it to Samad.
That's funny as fuck.
I am physically tired.
That'll do it.
That was dope. I want to listen to that again. That, like, from the first bar of that song, I'm like, yeah, this is going on my Spotify. Yeah,
That was a fun one. That was by far one of the more fun. Like, there's barely been times where I've actually had a collab where I'm just like actually disappointed. There's only been a few of them. And that's usually when people do some ho shit, like holding on to your vocals for like a year, and then the song comes out with old vocals instead of like updated vocals, and theirs is like new. It's like, come on now that kind of shit, that ain't cool. That'll always be fucked up to me. But nah, everyone's usually professional these days about it.
Who's your top five?
he's already named 3, 4.
I know 3 of them.
Who's your fifth? Because you've already named 4.
So there's overall the top doesn't exist. Like there's the mainstream, then there's the underground.
Not the Mount Rushmores. We don't name the Mount Rushmores.
I'll tell you the underground cats that I think are the top because the generic top ones, whatever. So we got cats like Kambada. That's unquestionable to me. He's a top lyricist. Khan, to me, unquestionable lyricist. Analyst, I think he's probably the top of lyricism for me in the underground. Merkums and Lex Bratcher, I think, are the best that are like fresh, ripe, ready to pluck. You know what I mean? Like,
but both of them are on verge of just explosions.
They're breakout artists for sure.
Yes, like definitely.
Like there's too many, but I think that's like my realm. Like all those artists I mentioned, I interact with or have interacted with. Like those are all, and they're all really good to me. Like there's so many artists that I could put up with them too, because there's artists like Angry Orphan, my partner in rhyme. I think AO is one of the dopest cats out there. Like to me, no one, even myself, can tell you better than how that person's feeling and putting it on paper with nothing in between, no filters, no fillers, like it's just, this is my thought and this is it on the page. Like and it's so, yeah. And then there's artists like, I wouldn't hold myself in my own list, but I'm the fact that I'm in people's lists, like that's dope as fuck to me. I love that I'm even considered that kind of thing. So like, there's just so many levels, man. And then if I went old school, like Big L, Big Daddy Kane, like, you got Brother Lynch, you got, Cool G Rap, Rakim, Nas, like, I loved Melly Mel. I love like there's Cool J. If I want some hits for the ladies, you know, like there's a lot. Like LL's got those. He made music for the ladies, man. Like, yeah. And what I grew up on, like the first shit I listened to was like D12, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Beastie Boys. Like those three groups were what I like. Boom, like those small memories I have with my parents. That's what was in the Blazer in like 97, 98, 99. Like that's what I heard. And those aren't even my top, but I love them. I love them. Like D12 was dope. When the Blue Hills, Golden Seals, like that shit was fucking crazy, bro. And yeah, Beastie Boys, classic, you know, like I just love it all. I'm not good for a top. I really am not. Like there's so many different ways of looking at the pinnacle of lyricism.
There's so many lists you can make.
Yeah. And then the music, if you were looking at like what I'm listening to daily, it's not the best lyricists. Like at one time it was like, I used to listen to Tech Nine so much, like all 6s and 7s, that album, like I bumped it so much. It's like that was just repeat all time on the day. Now I'm like listening to anything from like someone singing like living in this big blue world, like that fucking song where everything will be okay. Like that is simple. It could be fucking Jamaican music. It could be music from Hawaii. Like the shit that I listen to a lot, Trevor Hall. Like that's none of it's rap, none of it's hard ass rap.
Trevor Hall's dope though. Trevor Hall's just
he's dope. Mac Miller, like I love Mac Miller. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm everywhere. And then I'm the artist where I was focused so much on hip hop growing up, where there was what I absorbed at the time, and then there was what was releasing, and then there was like, oh shit, I got to go back in time now. There's more music that came out. Now I'm catching up to what different genres. Like I'm really getting into way of the older stuff. Like way like it's like, oh, there's people like Carlos Santana. Like his guitar skills were fucking crazy. They're
amazing.
Yeah. And then Chuck Berry, like you can go further. Like there's so many like genres, and so music in itself, man. Like that's my
favorite go-to, just to like vibe, like in a car ride sometimes, because I don't want to listen to rap all the time. I like to listen to different shit. Is Jethro Tull.
Oh, okay, yeah, absolutely. For a car ride.
For a car ride when you just finished smoking a nice little L.
Yeah. At night,
roll down those windows, and you just doing some Jethro Tull.
Yep.
Boy, ain't nothing better than that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
For me, it's easy. It's just my go-to if I don't want to listen to hip hop. Like it's easy. I'll just throw on the Beatles.
Oh, right on.
I'm good with the Beatles.
Yeah, yep, yeah. I there's really not any music you'll hear me be like judging a person for listening to, because I found myself in just like I used to never listen to country, because the country I listened to that was exposed to me, it was one kind of type of, it wasn't like I didn't realize there's so many different kinds of country like I should have. But when you're just in high school and you're an underclassman, and in the weight room the upperclassmen are all fake cowboys and want to listen to the country radio, all you hear is like the farmer's daughter, my big green tractor, like some of the stupidest, like sonically things for me as a person to listen to, like when I'm working out. Like I didn't want to hear that. But then I watch one day Daredevil season 2, or no, not Daredevil, The Punisher, and this guy is singing some fucking Chris Stapleton, and I talk to God, like you know, like, and it's a drunkard's prayer, a song that fucked me up, and it was country, and I'm like, okay, Chris Stapleton is the first country artist that I love, and I dove into that, and then there's more, like, you know, like I'm catching up constantly.
I kind of stumbled into that when this happened a couple of years ago, when I stumbled into Johnny Cash Hurt.
Oh yeah, yes.
When I heard that song, I was like, what did you just do to my soul right now?
Yeah. Johnny Cash, big time. That's another. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like all those, like my fiance, she's the girl who, she's been listening and absorbing all music for a long time. And so it's oftentimes her playing a song. I'm like, I haven't heard this in years. I've always liked it. What's it called? And then she'll be like, oh, it's Nirvana, Lithium. And I'm like, I should have just known that. Why didn't I should have? I know that's on the cover, or that's on the album with the cover of the bait. Like I knew, but it's like little things like that where it's just getting a title for the song that I've known. And my cat's yelling at me right now. What's up, Maui? You want to fight, bro? Yeah, he wants to fight.
That cat gonna fuck you up.
He will. He's like the one in Scary Movie 2. He's an all-black cat. He'll hit me with a hook, bro.
That was hilarious, bro. That shit was so stupid.
One of the worst animatronics, but it was hilarious. That cat was just like, boom, fucked her up real good. Slapped
The minute you said that, a picture of that dumbass cat came right in my head.
I think I know why you're mad. I went potty in your litter box. It just shows the shit. Bro, those early scary movies were some of my I should not have been watching them, but they were. I watched them growing up, and they were funny as fuck.
I was an adult when I watched them, and I was like, I shouldn't be watching this shit.
Yeah, that was one of the first times I heard M and Royce on a song, and it was called Scary Movie, and at the end of Scary Movie, and they're rapping, and I'm like, what the fuck? I've never heard this. Like, yeah.
Oh,
growing up. No, you're good. What?
No, they said Royce and M. I'm about to get into in my Patreon. I'm about to get into the Bad Meets Evil album.
Phenomenal.
That album, boy, I don't find one track that I'm just like. They both gave it 100%.
Yeah,
those are one of those albums that I can't say, yo, M ate this nigga on the beat. He
right,
did.
Yeah. There's so many times where my spectacular vernacular, I spit like giving X-Lax to Dracula. Like Royce rhymes like, y'all are rock stars, I'm the opposite. I could just throw a rock and hit a star for the fuck of it. Like those, part of me you not hard, a body you beat and leave you like Allahu Akbar. You know, I'll leave you fucked up beyond all right. Like that's just, woo. Like Royce was just going.
He was going in on that.
And he doesn't even sound like he's trying. He's so smooth with
he's so he's just so like relaxed with it. It's like a professional athlete making a fucking hard catch look routine.
Right.
Like, it's just like he's catching fly balls when really he's jumping over the fence and stealing home runs from you guys.
Yeah. He's special. I love Royce. He has some. As someone who has consumed hip hop media, there's some shit that I wish that just does not come out of his mouth. Like he has some of the wisest outlooks in life, but then there's certain like verbal situations where I'm like, bro, just put your ego to the left a little bit, and this would be such a better conversation you'd be having with this person. Like you could, but and that's nitpicking because when I heard the allegory by him, I was like, Royce is fucking beyond intelligence. I was like, he's studied Eastern philosophy. He knows his shit. And because I dove into that a little bit, and for me to just recognize some of the stuff he was saying, I was like, okay, like he's very knowledgeable. And then for him to just have like certain viewpoints, whether it's with like whether it was with Lupe or Mickey Fax, like just the way all that happened, I'm just like, fuck, like you're a grown ass man. Or the slaughterhouse situation, like,
oh yeah, that was a stupid ass.
He just doesn't handle things the best, and that's me being someone who's judging that has nothing to do with it. So like if I told him that, he had to have every right to like, well, doesn't fucking matter what you say because it's not your business, and I would agree. But my opinion on the situation is that you could have handled it better, bro. Just as a man talking to another man, that's just genuinely how I feel, and that's and because it hurts seeing when he acts or talks in a certain manner, because I'm like, dude, that's not your image, that's not your portrayal, but he does it so firmly that you can't question it. Like it's like you can tell he's made his mind up, and you can tell like he's not changing.
It was at that point when he opens, it was a fact. It was no if and or buts. It was a fact. That's what it is.
Right, and he's the type to be like, well, you could feel that way, but it doesn't mean it's true. It's like that works both ways, Royce. Like you telling cats how to think or what things are. Like there's also you too doing that too. Like you can equally say some shit that another person doesn't agree with that can tell you the same thing. Like, hey, you can feel that way, but that don't mean it's true. Like,
see, Royce, I like the way M does it. M has any issue, wait for the next album because that man's gonna be talking about that shit.
Yep.
I'm very because The King and I, that Elvis movie he did, or that song he did. He's bro, man. I can't.
I said it in my reaction, Alpha. I said it in my reaction. This is a soundtrack for Elvis. Why are you doing this right now?
I can't like him sonically as much as I could before. Like I'm telling you, like it wasn't until like the last 2 years where I'm starting to finally decline from Marshall. Like I've been that he's one of my, if not the biggest influencer in my music, and especially in my childhood. But I'm at the point where I'm like hearing just finally, I think, just objective truth of hearing how off his voice is these days. It's the way he sets up rhymes, cool. Intricacy, complexity, I get it. A+, beyond grading. He's so good. But like sonically, just as simple as how it sounds, it doesn't sound as good as it used to. That's how I feel now, and I hate it. But like that new Eminem show rendition where he has that song where it's an old Slim verse and then he updates it with the modern
You can
verse.
see the difference.
Yeah, and it sounds fucking awful. Like, and I love him. There's so many first-time listens for M these days where I'm like, I don't like this. I just don't. But when I'm sitting there in Apple Music and I have karaoke mode on, where I'm following bar for bar the lyrics, I love studying that. I would rather read his lyrics than to listen to him and try to just be like, oh, this is a dope song, because I'm not going to get there. I'm really not.
The thing about it is that I've learned, because I've been an Eminem fan since Infinite.
Yeah.
And one thing that I'm hearing now in his shit is, first of all, he's getting on way crazier, different fucking beats.
Definitely.
And he's not as good as writing the beat as he thinks he is.
Right. It's too complex.
Because he'll go to a scheme, and that scheme, like, I feel sorry for whoever masters his shit, because they must be like, yo, can you just like fucking relax with it?
Right.
Because it's so complex that you're going off the beat now, and it's kind of sounding choppy.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And it's funny because Royce has...
And I love that nigga. I got a tattoo that says rotten pieces in my fucking arm.
Yeah, shout out to that too. Man, I need to get me some M-Ink. I got plenty. But you're right though, man. You're absolutely right. Like, and it's funny because there's an example of... man, who was it? There's some rapper out there. It's not Cannabis. It's someone around that era, and he's breaking down Eminem's "The Way I Am," and he's like, he's only rhyming one syllable on that. Like, if you listen to it, like weed and this need, and I'm sitting there like, you guys are all believing this? It's not just one. You guys are stupid. I mean, he has so many people around him being like, yeah, like, you're right. I can't believe I never noticed that before. I'm just like,
I sit back with this pack as zigzags in this bag and it's weed. It gets me the shit needed to be the most me. That come on, son.
Right. And then like, it's like if they were to listen to Gatman and Robin. Remember that 50 Cent?
Yeah.
Like the whole cadence. It
was fucking crazy.
Yeah, and they were just saying that he rhymed one syllable on that, The Way I Am, and I'm just like, even in the comments, people were buying it. Not even just and I'm telling you, it was a rapper. It could have been Puff. It was someone in that era where they were just like a well-renowned lyricist, and they were like just trying to just OG some young cats up and let them know about how tricky,
and M never addressed it.
It's recent. I mean, it's very recent.
Oh, it's recent.
I'd say within the last 2 years for sure. Because I was sitting there. I mean, once I'm affirmed in my trade, I'm gonna open my opinion about it. And so I commented on that shit. I'm like, no, did you guys know what a syllable is? It's not just one letter or two letters. It's like sounds. Like, what's your name? Like, you know how when people are clapping and they're mad, like they're clapping the syllables, bro. Like that's what a syllable is. It's funny, man. I get hung up on the most random things. But yeah, man. I'm pretty sure have you guys heard if what is it? Disaster and Crooked, aren't they battling?
Supposedly, that's what I heard.
How do you think that's gonna actually look?
Crooked. I think if Disaster doesn't come with his fuck shit,
yeah,
and is there to rap, I think it will be probably top 5 best battles in rap.
Disaster needs to come with his old style fucking battle.
Yeah.
Disaster needs to come with the Disaster from 10 years ago before he started making heavy fucking pain. If he comes with the shit that he was doing when he was battling Cassidy and shit like that, it's
That was
over.
trash.
I think
You didn't like it?
No, just before that, like just before the cat, before his big paydays,
Like
Disaster
DNA and
was
all those
eating
cats.
motherfuckers up right, left, and center. If he
Yeah.
doesn't get back on his old school shit, I think Crooked's gonna mollywop him.
Honestly, I agree with what you're saying, but me personally, I think that no matter if he comes with his A game or not, Crooked is different.
It'll be interesting to see his style, because when Joe Budden came, do you guys remember when?
Yes.
Like the style he chose, man. Like that was
he had like the flow was weird. It was just
it wasn't him. Like I know Joe. Like I didn't listen to Joe Budden a lot, but the music I listen to him that I love. It's like what I love about AO. They do something that artists don't do, like in terms of like making it seem easy and effortless and natural, is just taking that emotion from here and here, just putting it right to the page. Nothing in between. Like Joe Budden's, his voice, his flexions, his vocal, they were dope. Like that's what made him dope. And like his sequencing with his rhymes, cool. But like that's not the potency in his rhymes. Like he says it once, he's like, man, I suck at all that syllable shit. I'd rather make the pen bleed. And like he says something like that. And it's in Slaughtermouse, that song where it's just like an open letter to M. And it's a dope song and it's beautiful. But that's who he is. And he tried to bring out some weird battle style that was so off-fitting. So ever since that, like that's a good example of someone who stepped into a culture that's evolved, because the battle, I mean, even from when I was in it, in terms of like what it evolved into from a social online perspective, because there was no area to battle rap where I lived really or grew up, and it wasn't a thing. So when I got into it, it was all online. So like that was fun. Imagine how fun and how far you can take things online with a rap thing. So like that's how I developed my beginning like wordsmithing. Like I fell in love with battling and just winning a clear landslide victory. People would vote. You do a verse, they do a verse, people vote, or like however it goes. And that was 2015, 2017, like that 3-year range. And Joe Budden was rapping like what, in Jersey in 90s and
94, 5, 6, some shit around there.
Yeah, so it's like it's not going to sound anything similar. Anything.
Nope.
And
Definitely not.
If he can just deliver the artistry that is Crook and try not to go back into his days where he was battle rapping and trying to capture, because if he recaptures the wrong, you don't need to recapture anything. He needs to channel a new, like
I think that Crooked saw Joe Budden and knows what not to do.
Right, exactly. I mean,
he's gonna get into this shit.
Yeah, that's a perfect yes.
Because no matter what, Disaster is still dangerous.
He's up. He's the top. He's up in the top in that world. He's so good. I mean, he's on your top. I think he is, and just from an objective, like, because the way he look, I anytime I see him back at, like you're talking about before Cassidy, those days, he was painting words. Like he was like writing them out to make sure that the flows and the sequence and the syllables, and it was like he was a major run-on sentence, but it was like rhyming and it was articulate, and that I think is untouchable. But is it going to be met with something that's better? Maybe it could, like an unstoppable force and an immovable object. Like there's many ways to describe something that is not to be fucked with. You know what I mean? And Crook can bring that. Crook can absolutely bring. Like I'm excited. No matter what, it's going to be.
I can't fucking wait. Bro.
Yeah, it's just so good for everything. Like not
my top battle rapper, because they're all fucking dope. This is where you get what you're looking for when it comes to rap, is battle rap. These motherfuckers are different with that pen. But I think the best for me, it has to be Loaded Lux.
Loaded is another untouchable. Like there's just certain guys, man. The way they do it, it's like that. It'll always be the branch analogy for me. Like they're on that same tree, but they're branching different, man. They're doing it so different.
There's a lot of people that fight me with that, saying, he's too complex, and I was like, but that's the fun part of it.
Right. Yeah. Imagine, guess what? You're in a fucking biology 202 class. They're not talking about what you learned in 101. You moved on from addition. You're multiplying.
Bro, I literally, just a couple of weeks ago, I literally caught a bar with him and what's this guy's name? The battle when he came back. What the fuck's his name?
He came back.
He came back with the suit. Calico. Him and Calico.
Okay.
And I literally a couple weeks ago caught another line from that battle that I didn't catch when I watched it years ago.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what I find fun in especially when it comes to lyricisms. It is, bro, you could hear it 500 times and you're gonna find something different everywhere. Because the way you guys write is so complex that it's like what Eminem said in an interview. It's like a sandwich. How much can you fit?
Rhyming. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what I love.
That's the perfect I mean, honestly, and that's the whole idea of everyone being different as a person. I think rap is like the perfect point to that. It's like, look at all these people. They're all so different. None of these motherfuckers sound alike. None of them. He's so much better at this than him for that reason. It blows me away that people can't just be objective and understand that, like, there's 100. I could name one day. I'll put out a list and it'll be 100 dopest MCs, and there's still going to be not nearly enough for the amount of.
And you're going to get those comments. Why didn't you add this guy? Oh, you have him on there. Why don't you have that? They say, shut the fuck up.
Right, and that's beautiful though too. Like, those people, fuck them feeling that. I'm not going to interact with that, whatever. But like that concept, just the fact that it exists out there, that's what makes it so unique and special. Because it's like when you fit in with a camp, I love the word tribe. I love the village. I love those things because it's like, that's what it really is. It feels like that feeling of being at home when you're around a certain people or a place or a group. That's what it is.
In that sentence, you just named like two freaking like. You could like take that, and I heard like Tribe Called Quest, and I heard Boot Camp Click. As soon as you said Tribe and Camp, I'm like, yeah, they were lit, right? Like,
but honestly, that feeling though, that's what like music, rap specifically, like really, especially getting in this community where you create your own, and if you're like you start out just being a part of people's, and it feels awesome, and then before you know it, you have your own, and people are gravitating toward you. And then when you physically have that team in your life, like that feels fucking incredible. Again, and it's all just.
I say that many times, and there's a lot of people that have heard me say it on the chat right now. So if I'm lying, I'm dying, and I'm still here. I've always said it in my shit. I will never get on one of my reactions and listen to a new rapper and trash his art, what he perceives as his art. I'm never going to do it. I'm always going to find the positive of what I'm listening to. Because it's not my job to judge you on what you do, because I can't do it.
No, so but at the end of the day, you can still give constructive criticism. You don't have to smash him so he wants to fucking retire.
Motherfucker, for me, Shakes, you should know already, it's black and white with me. If I'm going to trash you, I'm going to trash you, and it's going to hurt.
Right. Well, but the different, like, because what you're talking about, I think is good. I think that's a good mindset to have. But it's the people who can't draw the like that in between, like they're, man, I'm trying to find the way to word it. Like if it's unsolicited or not. Like, where did this? Some people just give advice that it's unsolicited. You're just like, where the fuck are you coming from with this? Like, I didn't ask you. Two, what you're saying isn't helpful. Like you're saying, like it's helpful.
I want to show you guys something. I'm sorry I cut you off. When my son just walked in. And this is, and when I tell you he's a Nas fan.
There it is. Hey, I need to get me a shirt like that, man. I have no
Nas shirt.
Yeah, I need
a Nas shirt.
You gotta always recommend.
I need one of them.
Favorite song off the album.
Boy, he's got that one. What's the other one? It has like a phrase on it. That boy, the ether, I think. Yeah, that boy is nuts about that boy.
Man, it ain't hard to tell.
Ether is such a classic. I have that sample of "Fuck Jay-Z" in my head. Just
oh my god, dude!
To this day, just random "Fuck Jay-Z." Like I don't hear it in my head. I'm just like, man, that song.
But you know the story behind that, right?
Well, so
the story behind Ether is his record label wouldn't release it because it was too vulgar and it hit too hard. He had to rewrite it. That's what we know as Ether is like his third version.
Right,
That's the third version. The first verse was leaked. The original first verse was leaked, just in script, not in song form. But the one we know where it's like "fuck Jay-Z," the
right, yeah, fuck
Ether. That's his third version of that track. It's been dumbed down twice.
Yeah. I wonder what that original. We'll probably never get that original. We'll never hear it. I don't think. And that's okay with me. That'll just bring back some bad energy.
I would pay money to hear it.
Man, I don't know, man. That would cause such a divide now these days. Like the last thing we need is that. I mean, those are like it's always like Lil Wayne, like his top 5 recently. So cool because there was only like one person I wasn't familiar with because it was just there's so much music out there. But he was asked like, "Why aren't you in yours?" He's like, "Oh, I don't touch these guys." And his number 1 overall was Missy Elliott. Like that says so much about what that means, of how he views his own shit and his respect for other artists, and also the fact that there were no like real rappers today that you would be like, oh, he didn't mention this guy, he didn't mention this guy. Like you would think he would mention certain names, but no, they were all like Good Mob, Missy Elliott. Man, I wish I could remember, but it was such a classic top 5. But
he put Goody Mob in his top 5.
Yeah, all of them, the whole thing. Yeah, all of them. He put
That's
I mean, but also he comes from. I mean, Birdman. You can't get. That's you. Him and Fat Joe been walking around with like bands in their pockets since they were like 14. You know
14 years old. That man went on an interview and Fat Joe even said that shit. He's like, I keep 10,000 stacks in my pocket at all times since I was 14. Yeah. You can't tell me shit. And I was like, get him, Joe. Let them niggas know you ain't fucking around here. Man,
I growing up, I gotta say, Fat Joe was like a hard thing to understand in the culture because it's like I'm a white guy, so I'm listening to hip hop. I'm embracing it from a very specific, not even knowing I'm realizing like that I'm embracing a culture without realizing what that means. Like you're just listening to it. And then one day people are like, oh, well, do you understand like as a white guy, what that even means? And then you learn, and then you're like, okay, so Fat Joe, right? Like you're learning this dynamic and race. And then you're like, well, he's Puerto Rican. He looks white, but he's dropping the N-word and it's cool for him. And then it's not even like in question to this day. And I'm not saying it should be, but like, I'm just saying as a white guy learning dynamics in hip hop, it's a study in itself. Like it legit, because he is like, he's just a Puerto Rican dude, but he's a gangster at the end of the day. And he was in the streets and it was his environment. Like there was so much to learn just with noticing and studying even that, because there's so much in this game. No matter what your race is, you got to learn about who you are and how it's relevant and how it's perceived. Because I'll tell you what, like the whole guest and hip hop conversation was such a good thing to happen. I think that gave a lot of people perspective, because it's like, wow, I'm the type of person where I didn't even know it was anyone's, you know, like there's a lot of people who are just like, music is music. I didn't know it was like, because that's just how it is for people. Everyone thinks differently.
Yeah, well, fuck Lord Jamar at the end of the day.
Well, Lord Jamar and the whole Eminem and Lord Jamar thing is just like Eminem understood that. He's like, I know I am against the hip hop. I never said I wasn't.
Right.
Like that's the problem with most of these fucking stands. Yeah. Most of these stands are putting putting shit out in the air, in the universe,
Yeah.
so these motherfuckers can start having a conversation, something that Eminem never said.
Right. Yeah, and that's
like
what he engages with. He engages.
They're calling me the rap god.
Uh-huh.
They're calling me that. They're calling me the king of rap. I'm not saying all his songs. Really listen to it. I think I'm starting to become a rap god. That's not a for sure. I am a rap god.
He also said Rap God was a freestyle he kicked on his couch.
6
He's
minutes.
full of jokes. Yeah, he's full of jokes.
6 minutes. Bullshit.
Right.
Don't give me that crap.
Yeah, and no, you're right too. Like, absolutely. Stands are. That was another thing. Being my unique situation, like I would have considered myself a stan until I saw what that label became.
Mm-hmm.
That became. You have to be so aware of shit like that, even as simple as it is. It's like, no, I would never say I am, because that means
that you're psycho.
Yeah, that you're so narrow-minded just by that title alone. Like it's crazy. Like, because it comes with implications that you can't deny. Like you see it everywhere. It's so felt. But it was interesting because, as that big fan growing up of M, when Revival came out, it was the first time I saw people being like, this is so fucking bad. Like everyone, it was, I watched the internet. It became cool to trash M. Like, even people who didn't review the album were like, I wouldn't fucking listen to it anyway, blah, blah, blah. Like, just, it became cool to hate Eminem. 2017, 2018, watch the curve happen. And then when he did the Donald Trump freestyle line in the sand thing,
yeah,
he's, cut my fan base in half and still outsold you. he did that. Like, he cut his own fan base in half. Like, he really did. Like, having that political opinion, whatever it may be, and he's never not been like that.
Yeah. Thank you, because I've been telling a lot of people, I was like, yeah, acting like this is the first time that he mentioned the president's name.
Yeah, it's because of the race tensions, man. Like, people attach themselves so much to what they identify as these days. Like, and Donald Trump was very openly racist, man. Like, just very openly racist. And there's people who were the type of person where if you supported him, they would shut you out. There's a type of person, if you supported him, they would be like, okay, I can see why, but I will disagree. Like, the lens is so it's not just bifocal, trifocal anymore. It's like there's 4 lenses for one opinion. Like, and there's so many different these days. And M's like, what is it? There's a song on Encore. There's an intruder in my house. That song.
Through the window. This is bobbing in my head, man. I have to listen to it.
They both are so political, and they're just like Mosh is
absolutely fuck.
Yeah, Business on or the Eminem show.
The Eminem show.
Yeah, White America. Like, there's still so many. Like, and again, it's just the Trump attachment. Trump became such a love or hate divisive thing in this country, and when he openly was just like, Trump, yes or no, like if you're with him, you're against me, blah blah blah. And that's how it is. Look, there's people who love that about a person and they hate it. Like, I had no opinion on it because I'm not the type of person to be even involved in politics that much. I'm educated enough to where I can like see how things are going, but I can't just be like, this will fix our issues if we vote for him because he said this. I can't even believe what they say. There's not a fucking single politician I believe is saying what they wholeheartedly are trying to accomplish. Like, it.
You know how you can tell a politician is lying?
If their mouths are moving.
Facts. My brother, we've been doing this for 2.5 hours. I work in the morning.
You good, man. You good.
We appreciate you coming through. This was a fucking phenomenal conversation.
This was fun.
Absolutely.
Really
Thanks.
fun.
Both of you. Thank you. I love engaging. I just love talking, man. And I got to learn a lot from both of you.
Like I say to every other people that we have this vibe with, you got the keys to the house. You can come back whenever you want.
I appreciate it.
Don't touch my Coronas and pizza rolls and we good.
They're all yours, man.
Guys, thank you so much for having fun with us, man. This was a dope episode. I appreciate all you guys. Shakes, we are out of here. Do what you do.
the Shakey Vibe Podcast. I am Shakes P. That is Vibe Reaction. This was Alphabyte, episode 32, and we out.
Out of here.
Peace.
Peace.
All right. So do we get to
Appreciate
just
them.
dope? Or did you want to talk or anything? Or are you gonna go?
No, I gotta dip. Like, I don't
Okay.
even understand how this still works. My internet
Okay. No
shut
worries,
off
bro.
in my studio like an hour ago. So if you've seen me like fiddling around, I'm trying to like figure out why is this still working. I got no internet on my phone, but my computers were like
Surviving.
I don't even know. But like, yo, anytime you want to come back, DM us. Anytime you got a big project popping, DM us.
You got it, man. I appreciate you guys for real. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Talk to you soon, family.
Later.